want to make sure that I acknowledge the sponsor of the show, Tiege Hanley, because Tiege Hanley sent me this new pack. They sent me the new Tiege pack, so I just literally pulled the paper out, got it out of the mail, and I started going through it, and I got a little bit more excited than I should. You know what I'm saying? So they did send me the Tiege pack, and I don't even know what this is yet. So I'm assuming this is what you get when you first order your Tiege, and I don't know what this is. Oh, this is dope. This is absolutely dope. Is this a nail kit? Ladies, get this for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. This is free. This just comes with it. 30% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Literally. Oh, snaps. I didn't know that they were sending it like this. Real talk. So this is the nail kit that they sending you. All right. So now you ain't looking like a dusty. This is a free gift straight from Tiege for the people that ordered the Tiege. They got the small one for the little hands like mine's. They got the big joints for your toenails. And then they got the joints at the bottom too. You know what I'm saying? For y'all that's a little bit more crustier than usual. All right. So that's one of the free gifts that Tiege got inside of the pack. And then what is this? Says squeeze a quarter size amount of Tiege Hanley body wash on the center of the wet bristles. Lather, scrub, rinse, and repeat for the perfectly satisfying wash every time. So that's inside of there also, right? Ooh, I can get my rubber ducky on right here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege for sending me that uncomplicated skincare for men. And then what we got in here? We got the actual Tiege pack, right? So this is the normal Tiege pack, but then they gave me the supersized joint for the people. They wanted me to show the people exactly what they got when they ordered that first Tiege pack, when you're getting your 30% off your first order, and then you get your free gifts. You get 2 free gifts, and then the 20% off for life. So the 20% off for life is a new thing. And dang, I ain't even got my keys on me to open this up. Maybe I can use the little nail clipper thing. I ain't got to buy no nail clipper for my new joint downtown. And then you get all of the washes, all of the scrubs, all of the AM, the PMs, and all of that stuff. So you got the whole thing inside of there for you to make sure you take care of yourself. But you got to make sure you take care of it every day, right? We don't want to miss days. We don't want to be looking like dusties. It does not absolve you from being able to make sure that you brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. It don't fix the teeth problem. Don't fix you ironing your clothes. Don't fix you being able to take care of your business. But it absolutely makes sure that your skin is phenomenal, even when you go in between shaves. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege Hanley. We absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold us down. I might do an official Tiege commercial, but I like just talking authentically to the people. I like giving the people the authentic look of what it is that you're dealing with, and I want you to hear from me personally, because anybody can do that little pitch and they can make some little videos, but very few of us can actually speak to the products of exactly what it is that you're supposed to use. So yeah, Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order, and then 20% off for life. That's the Anton Daniels pack, 20% off for life. Using any other Tiege pack, make sure that you go ahead and let that go. And make sure you tap into the link that's in the description and take care of it, all right? What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels, and we are getting it popping. It is Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024, year of our Lord. Let me give ourselves a round of applause. So we got a full show as usual today before I step out and I go to record. Because you know me, I'm always on the road. I'm always recording. I'm always rocking. But the one thing that we not going to do is we not ever going to miss. We never going to miss because we don't depend on anybody or anything to give us no PTO time. We not worried about no systems. We not dedicating ourselves to anything and anyone except for continuing to build ourselves up. So first and foremost, I just want to give an acknowledgement to every single person that's out there getting it. Shout out to my teachers. Shout out to my truck drivers. Shout out to everybody that's working from home, the tech workers. Shout out to all of the bag chasers. Shout out to the Patreon members, because you know that the best time to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. So if you are a bag chaser, understand that we are doing stock club either Friday or Saturday. We're doing stock club either Friday or Saturday. All right. A lot of people are saying, how was your Labor Day? I was traveling. I was on a plane. You know what I'm saying? I was flying back through airports, getting here. So I got here yesterday or yesterday afternoon slash evening. We rocked out. I did some work. I never left my hotel. You know what I'm saying? I had my driver pick me up straight from the airport. Actually, you guys know how I rock, right? So I was in the studio earlier yesterday morning. We did the Millionaire Morning Show. I did a little bit of work after that. Headed straight to the airport and came straight from the airport over to my hotel. Did some more work, recorded a video, jumped on the live stream last night, back up and at it early today. So I had to get everything taken care of, working with my editor and all of this other stuff. And one of the thing about it is that I could sit here and say, well, the Wi-Fi is slow, or the internet is slow, or the upload speeds is not the same as in the studio, because everything that I upload in the studio, no matter how big, it's like that. You know what I'm saying? We made the investment in the infrastructure to make sure that we can operate like that. And it's the same thing when I'm live streaming from home and stuff like that. But most places like this, like at hotels and stuff like that, the Wi-Fi is serviceable for most people, right? If you send in emails or you might do a little bit of Zoom call or something like that, it's okay for you. But for people like me that are streamers and stuff like that, we got to be prepared. So a lot of times what we'll do is, or what I'll do personally, is I'll have everything already set up before I ever jump on a plane. Or, you know what I'm saying? I'm coming in, I check the speed, so I already am proactive in making sure that I can see how everything is working. And then what happens is I adjust accordingly. Okay, so the speeds is a little this, a little that. That means that I'm gonna have to get started earlier, or I'm gonna have to do all of the stuff last night or before I jump on the show. And then I could just make the adjustments and then make sure that I, check to make sure everything is done prior to the show or whatever. Because if it's going to take an exponentially amount of time, an exponentially amount more of a time in order for me to get certain things done, I can't have no excuses. So that's the difference. When you on your regular job, you can sit and say, "Oh man, we got a network issue," or "Oh man, something went out," or this and that. I don't have, or we don't make that type of decision. And a lot of business owners can feel me on this, right? A lot of people that run their own thing, that do their own thing, that eat what they kill, there is no excuses or anything like that. And I think that business earlier in my life, and even for some executives, business earlier in my life, both for myself and working in corporate America, it removed all of that safety net, which then made me take accountability, what feeds into what I do today on a regular basis. So we all set. We good. It don't matter what city I fly into. It don't matter what I'm recording or what I'm working on. The one thing that you can definitively count on from me and most people that don't make excuses is for us to deliver. It's the same thing in my relationship. It's the same thing when it comes to business. It's the same thing when it comes to corporate America. It's the same thing when it comes to the chasers. We deliver. We execute. We make sure we under promise, we over deliver, and we never miss. We never miss. We all, it's my job to make the adjustment a day or two, a week or two, to plan for it a month or so before. You know, I always get on my chasers and I always get on my people and I say, look, man, why y'all don't operate by a calendar? My life is based off, and you got all of the technology, you got all of these devices, and you telling me that the only thing that you use it for is to surf the internet or to be on social media. You don't leverage all of the power within this device to actually use it and get all of, yo, man, I do everything on this thing. I record my vlogs on here. So the vlogs that I release every single morning on the Anton Daniels channel, that's recorded on here, right? My calendar is on here. I use my cloud to do everything, up and load, upload, download, all of the same things that we do in corporate America. I do them better for myself. And so I leverage the technology. I invest in my infrastructure. I invest in my software. I invest in myself. So, I just want y'all to know I'm tired of hearing the excuses. I'm tired because excuses is gone. That's dead. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to go and fix your situation. And we're going to get into that because it's a woman. Y'all sent me a video in my email of a woman that's basically a single mother that's about to be homeless. But we're gonna get towards that to the end of the show. Let me acknowledge the super chat, and then we're gonna go ahead and rock out. Shout out to Miss Crow T Shetty. I appreciate you. Thank you, Miss Crow T Shetty, for holding me down. Thank you for that. And then I will also want to acknowledge a couple of the cash apps before we get started. Shout out to Dominique Williams. Said you want to do a short talk about real estate and content. Okay, well then send me an email, antondaniels413 at gmail.com. I appreciate you on that front. Shout out to Psychedelic Sense. I appreciate you also. Let me give a ding for you and Psychedelic Sense. Also, Mike that dude. Thank you for holding me down, Mike that dude. I appreciate you. And then ESDC. Shout out to ESDC in the building. I appreciate you. All right, I'm gonna continue to hold y'all down and read super chats throughout the show, but we got to get started with the show because we got a timeline, and then I gotta go and record and do this show, and then I'm gonna be taking a trip back to Detroit. We're gonna do after hours tonight, straight from Detroit, and we're gonna get it in. All right. So without further ado, what do we got? We got quick hits. All right. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we have to dedicate each and every individual segment and segment it off to itself, but we definitely want to keep you guys informed of what's going on in these streets. All right. First thing on quick hits, ladies and gentlemen, Fatman Scoop. So Fatman Scoop passed away over the weekend. I was aware of it, and people was hitting me up, and some people were surprised that he even followed me on Instagram. But we'll talk about that in a second.
He had a voice known for getting the party started. Fatman Scoop, whose real name is Isaac Freeman III, died last night after he collapsed during a performance at a concert in Hamden, Connecticut. The Harlem native scored a breakout hit in 1999 with the song Be Faithful. And a few years later, that same song shot to #1 on the chart in the UK. He was perhaps best known for his collaboration with Missy Elliott on a 2006 hit, Lose Control. That feature would earn him a Grammy. Missy Elliott posted a tribute on X today that read in part, "Your impact is huge and will never be forgotten." Fatman Scoop was also a DJ for New York's hip-hop throwback station 94.7 The Block. The radio station posted a tribute earlier today with the message, "Tomorrow is never promised, so we have to appreciate the moments we have today." Fatman Scoop was just 53 years old.
In my opinion, that's too young to be passing away. 53 is too young to be passing away. We often talked on the phone recently, actually, before his passing. We talked on the phone. We would message each other back and forth. It started off, he actually had DM'd me because he had liked my content, and he asked me to jump on a live stream with him. So I was like, all right, cool. So we cooked up on a live stream together, and a lot of y'all can actually find that live stream on the Anton Daniels channel. And so we have been talking about doing some more content because he wanted to start getting into more content creation. And he didn't just want to, do what he was doing on stage. I mean, he loved what he did on stage and he didn't want to stop that, but he didn't want that to only be the last thing that he did in his legacy. And so we talked a little bit about working on content and stuff together. And so it just never really materialized because I got so busy. He went back on the road and he stayed on the road, and we would often talk about his perspective on child support and in relationships and all of that stuff. So we have been working on some things, but rest in peace to him, and condolences out to his family. Again, I wanted to make sure and confirm that it was actually true before I went out here and started talking about it. But rest in peace to his family. I did see the video where he collapsed on stage. And a lot of people in the comments were saying, well, he died doing what he loved. But 53 years old is just too early for me. I want to live till I'm 90 personally. So I need another 50 years on this earth. And that's why I'm just changing everything because I just don't want to die from complications and health problems. And leave a lot on the table that I could have accomplished because I want to drive all of the cars. I want to fly to all of the places. And I don't want to live to 52, 53 years old. I mean, that's the same age that Kevin Samuels died. Kevin Samuels died at 53. Fatman Scoop died at 53. That's too early, in my opinion. So I'm not looking forward to only another 11 years. I'm looking forward to another 50 years on this earth. But rest in peace to Fatman Scoop, and I hope his family is doing well. In addition to that, Tim Walz, motorcade, got into an accident. Check it out.
A few cars in the campaign motorcade for Governor Tim Walz crashed in Milwaukee today. They were on the way to a speaking engagement for the Democratic vice presidential nominee. The governor and his wife were not hurt, but one pool reporter suffered a broken arm. Reporters say that they don't know how it all started, but one of the motorcade vans slammed into another and then got hit from behind as well. Well, the governor's Labor Day started with a brief meeting with Minnesota labor leaders on the tarmac at MSP Airport. Former President Trump gained ground with union members in 2016. So the question is, what may be changing in 2024?
They traversed Milwaukee, and then yesterday there was over in Detroit. Kamala Harris is catching us a lot of slack because she changed her accent in order to try to appeal to Detroiters over here. And you better thank those union members and all of that. And so she was trying to sound like a Detroiter. Um, I heard that they wasn't even really in Detroit. They was in a suburb of Detroit, but who knows? But they're traversing the Midwest, Milwaukee, Pennsylvania, um, Minnesota, obviously, Michigan, Ohio, all of these different places in the Midwest outside of Illinois, because Illinois is automatically blue. It's not a swing state. And they've already given their vote and their masculinity over to the Democratic Party, but they're transversing the entire Midwest. So that's what's going on that front. And then last but not least, Chicago Prison Department of Corrections workers are protesting a prison closure. Let me check you out.
The state has started moving inmates out of Stateville Prison. It's set to close over concerns about poor living conditions there.
New at 10, our Charlie DeMar found out plans to demolish the prison and build a new one at the Crest Hill site has some workers worried about their future.
The union representing most of the employees here at Stateville say they want answers as to whether or not they'll have jobs once the new facility is built and what happens when all of the inmates are gone at the end of the next month. No chaos, no layoffs. That's the battle cry from the picket line outside Stateville Correctional Center in Crest Hill.
We don't want any layoffs. This is going to impact people's future.
So wait. I just want to get this straight, because I understand when people protest for certain industries. Let's say, for example, the UAW and the auto workers, right? And they say, we don't want no layoffs because we don't want work going over to Mexico. Okay, that's a better conversation, right? That's a better conversation. And the reason that that's a better conversation is because that's a private industry that's based off of competition, and you can also depend on legislators to work in Americans' favor so that you don't have foreign products coming over here and you're not having money going out overseas, right? And then you can start organizing a little bit differently, even though I don't agree with a lot of what the UAW does today versus what they did in yesteryear. You can organize a little bit differently and represent all of the workers and say, hey, listen, we don't want no layoffs and we want more work to come to this plant or whatever. But this is different, because you got to understand that although I think that they should keep prisons open, because we got so much crime, and one of the incentives for them to close this is for budgetary restrictions, and that's why they keep letting everybody out. But you as a worker can't advocate for no layoffs because you're being paid by the taxpayers. This Illinois in general, and Chicago and all of its surrounding cities are all facing a crisis when it comes to their budgets. One of the reasons why they're letting all of these prisoners out is because they can't afford to house them, keep them, feed them, and all of this stuff, right? And so we have less money going over to prisoners. We got more money going over to immigrants, more money going over to social services, more money going over to a bunch of stuff that we don't even know where the money is going, right? And so this is a completely different industry. You know what I'm saying? This is a whole nother wave. And you can't protest the state and the city and the county to keep your job open based off the fact that you just want your job, but they're actually closing that particular prison and they're building another one, or they're building a more efficient one, or they'd already moved all of the prisoners out. What do you want them to do? You know what I'm saying? So although I do think that we need to be tougher on crime, I'm not really sure that you can organize against layoffs. You know, if you're going to unionize as far as the corrections department or prisoners and stuff like that, or you work at a prison, it has to be for prison conditions, it has to be for more protection. You can even advocate for more pay if you want to. But I'm not really sure how you can advocate against layoffs when you're using taxpayer money in order to support your job. That's crazy to me.
People's employment.
The union, representing about 900 Stateville workers, say they're worried about their jobs.
It's pretty frustrating. Right now, they just want to get rid of the inmates, the individuals in custody, and we're left hanging with they're going to do with us.
So far, about 100 prisoners have been transferred from Stateville to other facilities around the state. It comes as a judge ordered the roughly 420 inmates be moved out by the end of next month due to so-called hazardous conditions.
Is it old? Does it need repairs? Yes, but it's not decrepit.
But former inmates see the prison's upkeep differently.
These conditions is pure torture. There's no other way to say it about it.
The Illinois Department of Corrections says no one will lose state employment during the rebuild of a new prison, and there will be opportunities available within the department.
I don't know why we give such grace to prisoners. If you committed a crime, I didn't know that you could actually fight for more rights or stuff inside a prison. I thought that it was supposed to be painful. One of the reasons why people feel so comfortable committing crimes is because y'all got cell phones, y'all got iPads, y'all be doing competitions. I know it's whole TikTok channels that's dedicated to having fun in prison and they be cooking and stuff like that. And so I don't know, man. This whole situation is just bad all across the board. I'm confused. I don't know why this culture is so messed up. I don't know what's happening in America. I just think that everything is messed up. But ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. All right, let me go ahead and read some of the super chats and then we're going to continue on with the show. We're going to deep dive into it. Victor Williams Jr. says, morning family. Shout out to Victor Williams Jr. I appreciate you, big dog. Amy, what up, Amy? Amy says, hello, love your quick hits. Join the Bag Chasers on September 1st. Hey, can we get a round of applause for all of the new chasers? Shout out to everybody that has joined the Bag Chasers and the Patreon. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Yo, all of the chasers, let's give a round of applause for the people that's actually doing some great things. AP1804 says, it's crazy that all of the hip-hop legends are dying in their 50s. We have serious health issues we have to deal with. Black men's health matters. Yeah, man, listen. All of that Alizé and drinking when they was younger and smoking trees and all that stuff catch up to you. The lifestyle that you live, the seeds that you plant, ultimately you got to pay for that. Thank you. I appreciate you. Passall Limicent is in the building, says, morning AD and the Chasers. Shout out to you. Morning. Good morning to you. Project, shout out to Project, says morning and get the likes up. Get the likes up. All right, y'all. We already over 2,000 people in the chat. Less than 20 minutes into the show. Make sure you send this to your friends and family. And again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Let's get to it, y'all. So first things first, we got to go over to Venezuela, right? So in Venezuela, or not in Venezuela, but the Venezuelan president's plane was seized by the United States and flown back to Florida. Hit a like for the algorithm. Let's go ahead and get it started, y'all.
Breaking news, some exclusive live pictures that we're showing you right now of the seized plane belonging to Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. Maduro, we should note, is not on board, but the plane was seized by officials for violating U.S. sanctions. CNN's Kylie Atwood joins me now. Kylie, this is pretty extraordinary. This does not happen, obviously, every day where U.S. authorities go in and seize the plane of a head of state. But that is essentially what's happened this morning. Can you break this down for us?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the plane of Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, is now in the hands of the United States. As you can see there, those images demonstrate that it has just landed in Florida. It was seized by U.S. authorities in.
Why is somebody asking me if I'm wearing makeup? I don't. Why would I wear makeup? Do I look like I wear makeup? I just got good skin. That's that Tiege Hanley. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. If you're not a part of the Tiege pack, then you're going to be looking crazy. All right? Listen, go and get your Tiege. Go and get your Tiege. I keep telling y'all I take care of myself. No, I don't have on no makeup. Makeup? You think I'm putting on makeup in the morning in order to come and talk to y'all on the Millionaire Morning Show? No, I just got good skin, baby. And make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. What's wrong with y'all?
In the Dominican Republic. That is according to multiple U.S. officials who spoke with our colleague Priscilla Alvarez about this. And how this all came to fruition, Jim, is that this plane was in the Dominican Republic in recent months. We don't know exactly why, but that presented the opportunity for U.S. authorities to work with authorities in the Dominican Republic to actually make up a plan and seize the plane. And just to give folks context, this plane is effectively the Air Force One of Venezuela. This is a plane that cost about $13 million, the U.S. estimates. It's been used by Maduro to travel around the world, to make visits, to see other world leaders and the like. It's now in the hands of the U.S. government. It's an extraordinary move. The U.S. has for years been trying to disrupt the flow of goods and finances, money going into Venezuela. For example, they have disrupted luxury cars going into the country. But we should note that this is just such a bold move because, according to one of those U.S. officials who spoke with our colleague, this is unheard of and sends a signal that no one is out.
Hold on. Let me help you to understand something. I just have good skin, okay? See that? I don't have bumps. I don't have bruises. It ain't no camera work. Yeah, I do got to shave my head a little bit. See all the little stubble, whatever. I just got good skin. See that? Ain't no filters. Ain't none of that. No makeup. Just got good. Don't be jealous. See my neck match my skin color? Don't be jealous. Ain't no filters. Ain't none of that. This is just straight up Teach Pack, Anton, drink water, looking good, living a good life, teeth beautiful. You know what I'm saying? We just look good. Let me stop disrupting and let's get to this. Don't be distracted. Let's focus.
Out of the reach of U.S. sanctions. So they clearly had their eye on this plane for a while that was being used by the president of Venezuela, and now it is in U.S. custody. Now, the process here is that now that it is in the United States, Venezuela can petition for the plane. So we'll watch and see what happens there. But also, the United States can collect evidence from the plane. We just saw some folks heading into the plane, U.S. authorities heading in there with what appeared to be a recording device. They'll be able to collect evidence in terms of what the president of Venezuela was doing potentially on that plane. We'll watch and see how this all unfolds. Jim?
So the first thing that I have to ask y'all is, all of these jokes aside, let's get down to the business, y'all. Let's focus. I know my skin is gorgeous. If any of y'all ever see me in person, you're going to love me. You're going to love me. But let's get down to business and let's refocus, all right? Why is the United States of America seizing the president, the current sitting president's plane? Now, it's a couple different theories on my part based off of the fact that I am familiar with a lot of what's going on internationally. So the first things first is that we know that the United States of America is upset at Venezuela for a few reasons. The first reason that it's upset at Venezuela or the president of the president of Venezuela is because they don't recognize him as the president anymore, because they're saying that he has influence over the election and that he's stealing an election, and that they don't recognize him as the president. They recognize him as the outgoing president, and they only recognize somebody that unseated him over in Venezuela in a recent democratic election that they had, right? So that's number one, right? Who knows how they're working with them in order to try to make this guy, because they saying that Venezuela can, petition the United States to get the plane back, which they saying it's only a $13 million plane, which is crazy to me to think that the president of Venezuela is only traveling on a $13 million plane. It's like that's the equivalent of Air Force One, but Air Force One is way different than that. That's number one, right? Number two, the immigration that's coming into this country and whether or not Venezuela is working with the United States with immigration, how is that influencing how the United States of America is treating Venezuela itself? Trump told y'all that Venezuela's embarrassed the United States of America over the last 3.5 years. They let out all of their prisoners. And then we know, or we can assume, right? Assume that the United States of America plays a huge role in what's happening over in other countries, including Venezuela. One of the things that they was doing and Kamala Harris was doing during her administration under Biden was that they were going to different countries and petitioning them to do certain things. One of the things that they were advocating for is some of the same things that Obama ushered in, and then Kamala Harris is continuing under this current administration, which is the alphabet community agenda. Why? We have no idea. But they were telling places like Ghana, and Ghana refused the United States of America, so we don't know how they pan on the back end for that, because we know that it's conversations that we're not privy to. But they were telling Ghana that they need to change their laws to allow for people to be able to do some of the things that we're doing here in America that we don't even want as conservatives, right? And so we don't know how international relations are playing out with Venezuela, because this is unprecedented for United States to seize their plane in a completely different place. I think that they were over in the Dominican Republic, fly it over to Florida, and then said have Venezuela to petition for the plane back while they see evidence and going through the plane itself. That's crazy. And then last but not least, energy, oil, all of that stuff. So, of course, we know that it's always a small issue that turns into a big issue that allows for us to go in and pillage resources from other nations, or to foster better relationships with other nations, depending on what it is that we give them, or what military aid, or what it is that we use against them, and things like that. But I think it's way more to the story than just, oh my God, we don't recognize him, let's take his plane. This story is going to continue to unfold, and I'm going to be right on top of it.
Yeah, Kylie, we do want to emphasize to our viewers, you are looking at live exclusive pictures right now, or almost live. It happened just a little while ago, of these law enforcement officials. These are live pictures, as a matter of fact, of these law enforcement officials sort of circling this plane, going in and out of this plane. It's landed in Fort Lauderdale right now, but as Kylie was saying a few moments ago, it was seized in the Dominican Republic. And Kylie, as you were saying, this is a very aggressive move on the part of the Biden administration to go and do this while Venezuela is in the middle of a lot of political turmoil right now.
That's right. So we just had...
I don't think that this is a brownie point for Democrats, because most people that vote for the Democratic Party are usually uninformed voters, or people that are already tied to and dedicated to the Democratic Party, right? So if you're trying to influence an election, then you have to go against Republicans. You don't really have to do anything for yourself. That's been the whole play. The whole play for the Democratic Party, especially for Kamala Harris, and over the years, is not to say, yo, we doing this for you. It's to say we gonna demonize the other guy. You don't really want to go with them. You just want to go with us. Republicans say, listen, this is what we've done for you. This is what we're going to continue to do for you. This is how we're going to allow for your business to thrive. This is how we're going to remove the restrictions from doing this. Yo, you shouldn't be overly taxed. We need to lower the taxes or whatever. Democrats say, hey, listen, we need to take more from them in order to make sure that you guys are happy. And this is what you don't want to go back to. They focus on their opponent. Republicans more or less focus on what it is that the people want. And so most of the people that are tied to the Democratic Party, they're more focused on how they feel versus whether or not you're going to be successful in whatever it is that you do. One of the things that Obama don't get credit for is he went and killed, who did he kill? Oh, Osama bin Laden. I think Obama was the one that is credited for taking out Osama bin Laden. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Objectively speaking, Obama is the one that took out Osama bin Laden. It was under his regime, I believe. Hold on, let me make sure, because I don't want to be giving false information. Let me just double check. Let me double check. And they say that they buried him at sea. I don't believe it. Okay. He was killed in 2011. Okay, so yes, that is credited with Barack Obama. I don't know why they was okay, so it do get a little bit murky. I will give you that. And that they say that they buried him at sea. Why would they bury Osama bin Laden at sea? So of course that got a little bit murky. So you went, killed him, extract his body, and then as y'all was at sea, you just dumped him over. I don't believe that. Obviously, you just can't sell me a camel in Detroit. But he is largely credited with taking out Osama bin Laden. Let's get back to my point. But he gets no credit from that from the Democratic Party. That's not something that they ever champion. Why? Because people that are Democrats don't care. They don't care about international relations. They don't care about the money that we send into Ukraine. They don't care about whether or not immigrants are coming into this country. They don't care about all of that stuff. They care about how they feel and whether or not they like the person. They liked whether or not Obama got swag. Swag. They care about whether or not he got a wife that's a blackity black. They care about whether or not Kamala Harris can cook collard greens inside of her bathtub. They don't care nothing about international relations and stuff like that. If you ask the average Democratic voter what is going on internationally, what is currently happening in Russia, what is the relationship with Kim Jong-un, why is Iran participating in the Israel-Hamas war, all of that stuff, they don't know none of that. They don't even know any of the policies that she's proposing. So why would they be informed about what's going on with international relations? No, I don't believe that that's a coup for Democrats.
The elections in Venezuela over the summer, U.S. officials were highly concerned about the results of those elections, how those elections unfolded, calling into question the fact that Maduro came out victorious in those elections. So the fact that they have seized this plane sort of builds on the tension that has only been escalating in recent years between the United States and Venezuela. Of course, there have been some cooperation between the two countries in terms of a prisoner swap that we saw recently. But beyond that is a really tense relationship. And the Biden administration making it very clear that they are not going to hold back. They're going to go after Maduro and really try and seize anything he has in terms of incoming revenue, and all of that enable him to travel around the world. Now no longer able to do that on this plane.
And you were just saying a few moments ago, this is that country's version of Air Force One, and so this is not a small thing. And Kylie, what are these police officers doing outside the plane right now? You can see several officers going in and out of the plane. They're taking pictures.
Reading that super chat short.
They're collecting evidence, Jim. And so we don't know exactly what they're going to find on that plane. There are still some questions that we're looking to learn in terms of why this plane was sitting in the Dominican Republic for a number of months here. But it is noteworthy that the authorities from the DR did work with the United States on these efforts. We don't know the last time that Maduro was on this plane. We do know, as I said, that there are images of him traveling around the world, meeting with world leaders on this exact plane. It'll be interesting to see what they find on board, notes from those types of visits and the like, potentially. We'll just have to watch and see what investigators share with us. We have put in requests for comment from, of course, the Department of Justice, DHS, and the State Department to provide us with more context with regard to how this all came together.
Let me go to a different news source just so we can get the full picture, because we don't want to just depend on one news source. We often go to Fox News, CNN, ABC, MSNBC, all of that. So I want to make sure that we sourcing through different news sources just to be able to get the full picture so we can know what's going on. And as everything unfolds, I'll bring you up to speed throughout the week. Somebody says, Tom Dog, you see how HBCUs are crying for more money now? Yep, they always going to be broke. Oh, trust me. I'm going to talk about it on After Hours tonight. Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours. I got a good show that's going to be tuned in for After Hours tonight. Let's go over to CBS Miami, I believe.
So now at 11, the United States seized a plane belonging to Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. Tonight, the Maduro regime is reacting.
CBS News Miami's Anna McAllister joins us from Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, where that plane sits tonight.
Sources say this aircraft is Maduro's equivalent to Air Force One.
I agree with you.
The seizure happening after investigators believe that this airplane was violating U.S. sanctions, among other criminal issues. The jet that often flies with Venezuela's leader, Nicolas Maduro, is in Fort Lauderdale. It was seized in the Dominican Republic by Homeland Security investigations after they determined it was illegally purchased by Venezuela for $13 million and smuggled out of the U.S. so Maduro and his associates could use it.
It says that HSI Miami.
How are we so involved all of a sudden after the Venezuelan election that we disagree with who the winner of the election is. Now, of course, it is possible that election interference in that particular case, no different than what's going on here in the United States of America. But how do we determine how to administer justice and what's done, who purchased what with they funds, unless we piss and unless we want to leverage this against them?
Amy, HSI on the whole and its partners have the expertise, the global reach, and the partnerships to impact anyone, including heads of state who think they're untouchable.
HSI officials say they've had their eye on Maduro for years and that this seizure is just part of a lengthy investigation.
We've disrupted the flow of over $2 billion and indicted over 30 members of the Maduro regime, associates, and facilitators.
The move comes after outrage and protest across the world following the results of July's Venezuelan presidential election.
And I'm going to be honest, this could be true, but it could not be true. So I don't go based off of what people say. I don't go based off of what the government is always telling me. They tell us a lot of things. And so you got to sift through it to try to mine it out. And that's what we do here on the Millionaire Morning Show.
A race Maduro claims he won. But the United States isn't acknowledging Maduro as the winner, but rather opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez. Monday night, Venezuela's prosecutor's office issued an arrest warrant for Gonzalez, claiming he failed to respond to three.
Wait. What is that? Let me see something.
Office issued an arrest warrant for Gonzalez, claiming he failed to respond to 3 summons to testify about an opposition website which published detailed results of the country's disputed presidential election. Maria Corina Machado, another
sounds like something similar that they did to Trump.
Opposition leader and supporter of Gonzalez, taking to X with this statement, saying, "They have lost all sense of reality by threatening the president-elect. They only succeed in uniting us further and increasing the support of Venezuelans and the world for Edmundo Gonzalez. Serenity, courage, and firmness, we move forward." As for the seizure of the plane, the Venezuelan government describes it as piracy and claims that the U.S. is escalating aggression towards Maduro's government.
Sounds like we starting to get involved in another war. Yo, listen. Based off of what the news is telling us, okay? Let's just conclude this like this. Based off of what the news is telling us, they basically saying that him and his regime is Putin light. You know what I'm saying? Leveraging their power in order to enrich themselves, fly around the world, and not being recognized. Now that he's been elected out, and they're saying that he is trying to still control what happens in a presidential election in order to maintain power, that we don't recognize him no more. So now we're gonna start putting pressure on him, and they're saying, "Listen, you escalating tensions with us. What is it that you really want with us?" So on and so forth. So. Honestly, I understand that we got to participate in international relations, but I would just prefer that we just don't keep spending money and start putting ourselves in more conflict. Honest to God, can we fix home? Can we fix Oakland? Can we fix San Francisco so that another 49er, San Francisco 49er rookie don't get shot? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Let me read some of these super chats. And we gonna go forward from there. Shout out to Will Livingston. Will Livingston said our government probably telling other countries to let their children get sex changed, even though they are too young to make that decision. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, big dog. The run says, hello, I really appreciate what you do. I was wondering, how do I get on after our show? I think I can bring some insight to a couple of topics you talk about, and bring some insight. Oh, okay, you typed that again. I usually put the link in the chat for call-in callers. And I do call-ins after every segment. So just check it out. We're going to be live streaming tonight, and we'll play it by ear. But yeah, I usually put the link in pin it to the top of the chat on After Hours, so jump in with that, all right? Appreciate you for holding me down. Shout out to my girl, P. Shank. P. Shank says, good morning, Mr. Anton Daniels and the Millionaire Morning Show. Shout out to P. Shank. RM Trucking is in the building, says, for Real Estate Club on Patreon, can you give your opinion on using a HELOC, equity loans, or cash out refi to invest in real estate in the current market? Yeah, let me put that down. Let me write that down real quick. I'll address it. So that's going to be next week. This week is Stock Club. All right, I got you. I'm on it. Good suggestion if that's what y'all want to see. Greg Charlie says, I would love to hear you speak on Roland Martin and that dude he had on the show that tried to discredit Trump, saying he never gave HBCUs anything. I haven't seen it. Send it to me in my email and I'll react to it. I'll research it. We'll deep dive into it. All right. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. We have over 3,000 people in here. The likes is absolutely anemic considering all of the dedication and the love that I give to y'all and planning for these shows and making sure that y'all get the insight and information. Because the regular news is just boring. Let's just be honest. Regular news is boring. Financial news to a lot of people is boring. And so we entertain, but we also want to make sure that you get the value out of this and we put the medicine inside of the candy. So make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Let me read one more super chat and then we're going to continue on with the show. Futurist Lens says the seizure doesn't fit the current administration's MO to cater to the illegal immigrants from Venezuela. Maybe the Dems hope these immigrants will remember this once they're eligible to vote. That could be a thing. That could be a thing. Shout out to the Futurist Lens. I appreciate y'all, and I'm going to continue to bring y'all all of the value and all of the visibility that comes along with this. All right? Let's move on to the next thing. So I want to deal with Charlamagne, right? This was sent to me over the weekend. And I felt like it was necessary for me to comment on this because I can't understand for the life of me why Charlamagne continues to insert himself into this conversation. Either he is not situationally aware, he's not paying attention to what the people are saying, he really don't recognize the movement that is happening for the Republican side and for conservatives and how a lot of people are leaving the Democratic Party, or maybe he just don't care. Right, so I want to get into this, and I'm going to fast forward it a little bit because I know where it starts, but I didn't get a chance to really review it because I started to review it on the Anton Daniels channel, but I said, no, I want to make this a part of the Millionaire Morning Show because I want to address this directly because there was so many other things that I had to address on the Anton Daniels channel. But Charlamagne the God is basically going into what Kamala Harris has to do in order to continue to win, her strategy, and then also whether or not there's fake support among black people for Trump. Let's get into it. I'm going to fast forward it a little bit. And then we're gonna go from there. All right, let me see. Charlamagne. All right, there we go.
So incredibly tight within the margin of error, so there is no clear leader. But the fact that Georgia is competitive right now is
Hold on, let me do something real quick. All right, let's rock.
Big news in itself. The survey attributes Harris's gains to strong support among women, black voters, and young voters. So let's take the pulse of the people in Georgia and beyond. My sources tonight are multimedia mogul Charlamagne the God, host of the Breakfast Club radio show, and author of the new book, Get Honest or Die Lying, Why Small Talk Sucks. I could not agree more with that sentiment. And Angela Rye, CEO of the political advocacy firm.
And what hole did this woman crawl out of? Why is Angela Rye all of a sudden all over everywhere with Charlamagne? So if she's signed to his podcast network or something like that, then I can understand why she's so visible or whatever, and she's running around with him and trying to get some more visibility for what it is that she's doing. But for some reason, this woman who nobody cares about her opinion in particular, unless she just continues to go on the Breakfast Club and continue to go on the Breakfast Club, continue to run around with Charlamagne. I don't really know what value she adds, but let's get into it.
Impact Strategies and the co-host of the Native Land podcast. Great to see you both. I'm excited to see what you have to say tonight. Charlamagne, let's kick it off with you. You see that poll that I mentioned earlier. It's a snapshot.
And also, how did he speak for black people?
In time, of course, no clear leader, but Georgia is a swing state again. That was not the case with President Biden. What does this signal to you? Do you think she can keep the momentum going and keep Georgia in play?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having us tonight. And absolutely, the VP is doing exactly what she needs to be doing. We all know this isn't a traditional campaign because of the short window she has. So she's got to go out there and she's got to leave no stone unturned. She's got to shake every hand, kiss every baby. That is what campaigning is. Campaigning is explaining yourself and your policies to everybody, and don't let social media fool you. I like the vibes, but the vibes aren't going to be what wins you this election. People want policy. People want something tangible that they can feel, that can make them feel better about their circumstances. And she's going to have to go out there every single day and explain how she is going to do that for the American people. And she's doing it.
No, she's not. No, she's not. She's galvanizing people the same way that Democrats have always galvanized people. And they going around secretly and they saying, hey, make sure you register them to vote. Register this person to vote. Register this person to vote and tell them to vote for me. She's not giving people the real reason why they need to vote for her. She's telling them that they need to vote for her. And they already expecting Democrats to rock out just because you black. That's the facts.
Angela, to bring you in, those battleground polls also show Donald Trump pulling in 19% support from black voters. That is actually triple what he got in 2020.
I think it's much greater than that.
What is he doing?
I'm really trying to understand where they're doing these polls. Hey, somebody tell me where they doing these polls at so I can go and take it. So me and my friends can go and crash the polls. What's the sample size? Where are they getting all of this? What is the polls? I don't get nobody that reach out to me. I've never had anybody reach out to me and ask me any question whatsoever about how I feel about any of the presidential candidates in any year that they was running. I never got a poll. Where can you take the poll? Where can I register? And where are they getting all of these people? I genuinely don't understand where they're getting all of these people from.
Doing right to win them over.
I don't make anything of these polls that are talking to imaginary black folks. I would love to know, for one, who they're talking to, because I've not seen.
So you think that they don't
anywhere.
exist?
I think that they are, maybe, you know what, they might be the invisible man that Ralph Ellison talked about in his book. I don't know who these people are. There was a Trump ad that was released, I believe today, that's targeting black women voters. And there are these people who, you know, allegedly exist all throughout the country, and they're reading scripts. You can see their eye line going over here. And I think some of them might be paid to say some of these things. I'm not sure. But here's what I do know, Pam. You talked about this not being the case, Georgia not being the case for Joe Biden. Joe Biden did actually win Georgia in 2020. And I also want to give some credit to Kamala Harris, who has been to Georgia 7 times. This year, right? And so I think it's important for us to acknowledge the work that has been done. Their state directors talked about 35,000 new volunteers on the ground since Kamala Harris announced. They have.
And we all know where they came from. We all know where they came from, right? We know that Georgia in particular is the home of black people. What does that mean? The Boule, the HBCUs that's literally broke right now, that's crying for money. Oh man, I can't wait to do that story. I did see that story. But we know that the AKAs, the ACAs, and the Omegas, and the Fasas, and listen, we know that they are mobilizing. But at the same time, I will tell you, and it's people that's in my chat right now that is a part of the Divine Nine, and they said, Anton, I don't give up what they say. I'm not voting for Kamala Harris, and neither is my spouse, and neither is my brother, and neither is my sister, and neither are the people that surround me. They are largely depending on people that are already a part of the establishment that are not impressed by policy, or, you know, they more or less focus on a vibe check and fit the vibes and all of this stuff. And so informed voters or informed black men are walking away from the Democratic Party. And surprisingly enough, I'm starting to see a lot of black women walking away from the party. So I do agree with her in that I don't know where these polls come from. But then at the same time, there's a lot of people that's on both sides. Like, for example, the white people, I know a lot of UAW members that said, listen, I know that Sean Fain said that we endorse Kamala Harris, but that ain't what we saying, because over here at Stellantis, we over here losing our jobs, and we just got laid off over at GM. 1,000 of us just got let go too.
Have well over 24 offices in that state. They're doing the work. And so what you do see with polls, and what you do hear from folks who are registered voters, is that the tide is changing, that they're excited about the change and the excitement that Kamala Harris brought to the top of the ticket. And I think we really got to give more credit to the work. I'm not giving any credit to these polls. Polls end up being wrong all the time. And I've seen polls that say 15%, 19%, 18% of black folks. I don't believe it at all. I really don't.
So I want to follow up with what you had said about, you know, who are these voters? As I said, the 19% of black voters supporting Trump. Our CNN's Ali Reeve actually recently spoke to a black voter in Virginia who owns a shop that sells pro-Trump merchandise. Here's what she said about his outreach to black voters, and I'll get your reaction on the other end.
I'm
I
read
think the
the
efforts
superstition.
are succeeding tremendously. All the things that have happened to President Trump, the attacks on him, have done nothing more than strengthen Black people's connection to him. Because now he's someone who is the target of a struggle, and they have always felt that they've been a target.
All right, Charlamagne, what do you think about that?
I think that I can't speak for all Black people because we're not monolithic, and that woman cannot speak for all Black people because we're not.
But you can though. When they first started this segment, she said that the people that she's bringing up that can speak for Black people is Charlamagne and Angela Rye. But you can.
Monolithic, and yeah, I think she sounds like a damn. To be totally honest, I think she sounds like a damn fool, but that's her opinion. And I do feel like, Democrats do owe Black people a lot, but last election, 92% of Black people voted for Democrats, and that has been the case for a long time. I see that being pretty much the case this year as well.
So wait a minute. We're let me show you how fake he is. And this is something that Stephen A. Smith does always. Black people are not monolithic. We can think for ourselves, and different Black people have different reasons for voting the way that they do. Okay, all right, I could rock with that. But she sound like a damn fool. What did she say that was foolish? In that she basically illustrated how people, and men in particular, especially Black men, could more or less identify with Trump because it takes more to overcome the circumstances in order to win and upset the establishment. And we more or less identify with the fact that we have to be better, a lot better than what our circumstances is in order for us to overcome, especially when you're being unjustly persecuted, such as what's going on with this election interference that happened in 2020 and is happening again in 2024. She sounded very articulate to me. She illustrated her point. She was an older woman. I don't really understand what she was off on. Let me see something.
Outreach to Black voters, and I'll get your reaction on the other end.
I think
I'm going to look for the damn fool part in it.
their efforts are succeeding tremendously. All the things that have happened to President Trump, the attacks on him, have done nothing more than strengthen Black people's connection to him. Because now he's someone who is the target of a struggle, and they have always felt that they've been a target.
Where's the damn fool part? You see how these paid ops and these people that have an agenda to push continues to push this agenda to you?
And the Black people voted for here as well.
I want to follow up on that.
Can I just make one observation on that video real quick, Pepper?
Yep,
Did you see?
Absolutely.
Did you see the message that she had on there? Trump bulletproof 2024. She should at least take that one down, right?
Why? They tried to assassinate him. Am I the only person that can logically think my way out of a brown paper bag that's wet at the same time? You don't get the reference bulletproof because he got shot in the ear during an assassination attempt because y'all don't want him to be president of the United States of America and y'all know that this is y'all last hurrah. They just saying anything. They're grasping for straws. They saying anything. And none of it is hitting because we don't trust them and we're no longer depending on them to give us our insight on what it is that we should vote for.
Like, that's just tone deaf. It's inappropriate. This man just survived an assassination attempt, right? Based on reporting on this network. That is in and of itself crazy. So to Leonard's point about a damn fool, I would have to agree with that too.
All right. All right. So let's go back, Charlamagne, to bring you back in. Earlier this year, I was going back to look at some of your past interviews you've done, right? The dynamic has clearly changed. But when it was a Biden-Harris ticket, you said that you wouldn't support Biden's re-election, even if it meant Harris was VP. You told Politico in January that once the two got into the White House, Harris, quote, kind of disappeared. You told Politico, and it reported that you felt burned by backing her. What has she done specifically now to change your view?
Well, I had an unrealistic expectation of, you know, what I expected of her as the vice president. And the truth of the matter is that just comes in my belief of her. You know, if you go back and watch an interview on Breakfast Club in 2018, I told her then that I thought that she could be the president of the United States of America one day. So I had I had a belief in her that, you know, over those 3.5 years, over the last 3.5, 4 years, I know that administration, you know, handcuffed her a lot. So what changed is that she's at the top of the ticket now. For her being at the top of the ticket now, you know, she's the person that I believed in back in 2018. That person did kind of disappear over the last 3 years, but that is the role of the VP. I mean, if you're a vice president, you kind of, you know, I don't want to say do nothing, because she did do a lot, but if you kind of like don't rock the boat and you let the president be the president.
So what did she do? What did she do that was actually beneficial for the United States of America? This guy's an idiot.
You did a great job. You did a great job.
So she didn't do nothing, but she did a great job. Do y'all see how somebody can sound like they know what they're talking about, but it's all word salad? So she kind of disappeared. She didn't do nothing, but she did a great job on what? Because at her campaign rallies and at her stops, and what she did at the Democratic National Convention was say that Joe Biden is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And thank you for giving me the opportunity and enabling me to be a part of all of the decision making, because I was sitting at the table with him when he was making all of the decisions. That's what she said in her speech at the Democratic National Convention, both when Joe Biden got up there to speak and when she got up to tell her own speech. She popped out at the Democratic National Convention before the Democratic National Convention had started in her brown suit. She did to Obama. You know how Obama got? Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't know what they doing. Oh, tan suit. So instead of doing the regular power suit, Obama got a whole lot of attention for pulling up in the tan suit. All right. He got a whole lot of attention for pulling up in the tan suit. And people were like, oh, that's different. That endears us to him. That gives us a little bit more visibility of what his personality is, and so on and so forth. And then Kamala Harris, see, y'all think that I'm not paying attention. I pay attention to everything. I pay attention to everything. I don't miss nothing. I pay attention to the suits. I pay attention to the relevancy. I pay attention to the marketing. I pay attention to how people respond to the way that they enunciate their words. I pay attention to everything. She never had to pop out in the beginning of the Democratic National Convention before her Thursday speech. But she made sure that she showed up. She showed up in the Obama suit. She waved to the people, grabbed the microphone, and talked about how much she loved Joe. Now, Charlamagne will then come up here and say, because they're using the same playbook. See? You see how Eric said, I like the tan suit. So they're using the same playbook. Then Charlamagne will come up here and say, I had greater expectations, but she did a lot. And Kamala Harris was on there saying, hey, listen, this is what I was doing. I was in a situation room with Joe Biden on a regular basis. I seen how he operated. She cast a lot of the tie-breaking votes for the legislation that was happening. Either she did a good job or she didn't do a good job. Which one is it? So she was invisible, she disappeared, she did a good job, or she was handcuffed, or she was participating with Joe Biden. Which one is it?
Let me just follow up with you, because you said the last administration handcuffed her a lot. What makes you say that? I know you talked to Harris as well. Has she conveyed that to you? What makes you say that? Or is it just like your observation?
No, she never conveyed that to me. I just know that that's what I observe. You know, she's the vice president. That is the vice president's role. The vice president.
Either you know it or you don't.
His role is to, push the agenda of the president and, support the president. And she did that.
So it wasn't her agenda. It was only the president's agenda.
Very well. But she's not she's still the VP, but she's at the top of the ticket running to be the president. And I think that, over the last 3 to 4 weeks, the person that I know that I started, supporting way back in 2017, that's who I'm seeing front and center right now. And I love it.
Yeah, because you had said also earlier this year she could still pivot. It seems like what you're saying is she has pivoted to your liking.
She definitely pivoted. Like, I also said that the language of politics is dead. And, if you hear a lot of the things that she's saying now, she's really speaking her mind. Like, earlier today, she said Donald Trump is out of his mind. She should have said out of his mother effing mind. But, she was right in that sentiment, too.
The vice president.
So that's Angela Empty Head Rye and Charlamagne, the idiot that we never forgot what you was really accused of, but we can't substantiate that, so we're not going to hold you accountable for it. We know who these paid ops are. Let me read a few of these super chats. Shout out to all of the almost 4,000 people in here. Let me read a few of these super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. Jet Red says, Georgia is voting for Trump. They only focus on Atlanta per usual. The real Georgia thinks differently from Atlanta. I know plenty black Trump supporters myself. Hashtag Macon Georgia is checking in. Shout out to my Georgians out here in the building. I appreciate y'all. I went through Macon as I was going down into Florida when I was driving a car down there. Giving Back says, why are black people hate the government but love Democrats? This is a great show because we care about the vibes. It's not about the person, it's about the party. And people care about the party more than they care about the person, so they'll justify their love for the person just because they automatically tied to the party. Unbiasedly Raw is in the building, says he sounds like our resident Trigger. I would love to debate with these people. I would absolutely hand wash and hand wring these people. Storytime Reading the Wine says, top of the morning to the bag chasers. Shout out to the chasers. If you're not a part of the chasers, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Join the bag chasers. We got Stock Club this weekend. Bam Bam Lynch says, shout out to So. My wife for 10 years is her 34th birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Bam Bam Lynch's wife, So. Happy birthday to you. 10 years in the building. Your wife for 10 years, 34th birthday is just getting started. Y'all got the rest of y'all lives to live a phenomenal life. Shout out to you, big dog, and I appreciate you for holding me down. Mars is in the building, says, Charla, lesser charge to God. Hyena Demeanor is in the building. Thank you for the super chat and the super stickers. I appreciate y'all. I like Fried Rice G says somebody get Ja Rule on the phone. Shout out to Dave Chappelle. And I like Fried Rice G. I appreciate you. All right, y'all. Let's continue over. I'm gonna continue to read super chats throughout the show. And send this to your family and friends. If you have not subscribed, if you have not hit a like for the algorithm, and make sure you turn on your notifications. Don't just subscribe, also turn on your notifications, because there's a lot of people that's saying, and the people that are subscribed, go and check your notifications, because a lot of people say that they don't get the notifications once I go live. So make sure y'all do that. And send this to at least 3 people, including Gam Gam, so she can say she hate me in the beginning, but she gonna learn to love me. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue over with the show. All right, so I want to spend 10 minutes on this subject really quickly. 4 people were shot and killed while sleeping on the CTA Blue Line train over in Forest Park. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
And Rob, the mayor confirming with us tonight, those 4 victims were sleeping on this train when they were shot, likely before it even arrived here at this train station. CTA workers making the gruesome discovery. Train services are slowly picking up here at the Blue Line station in Forest Park after 4 people, all adults, were found shot. 3 in one train car and 1 was found in another. All of them said to have been sleeping at the time of their murders.
These victims likely never saw it coming. They were executed on Labor Day, right? So Labor Day is generally a festive kind of day. In our community, people go to the pool. They go to the park, they barbecue. But today, a lot of people were calling the mayor's office expressing concern and asking if they were safe.
The horrific scene was discovered by CTA workers around 5:30 Monday morning, just as the inbound train arrived at this final stop. The mayor says the shooting is believed to have happened 1 stop away near the Harlem Blue Line station. Within 90 minutes, police say a suspect was found and arrested, still with the gun allegedly used in the crime.
We believe he got off at the Forest Park stop. He was apprehended at a Pink Line station in Chicago somewhere. So he may have gotten on a train going the opposite direction.
In a statement to ABC7, a CTA spokesperson calling this an isolated incident, saying, quote, "This heinous and egregious act of violence should never have occurred, nonetheless, on a public transit train." Now, the victims and suspect involved in the shooting have yet to be identified. The mayor says charges are expected tomorrow.
So before we get into the next story, as far as the different coverage, because I always like to make sure that I get the whole story and not half the story, I'm asking the same question, Sunshine. I was wondering why they was even sleep on the train is just crazy. Well, a couple different assumptions and observations, right? The first assumption and observation is you can say maybe they were homeless people. The second assumption and observation is maybe they were just tired, because I've seen people get on a train or get on a bus and fall asleep just because they was tired, or you know what I'm saying, they was looking at their phone or whatever, and they put their phone and they put their head down for a second and they fell asleep. More importantly, this shows that crime and people are crazy. And I tell ladies all the time, I tell y'all on this show, I tell y'all on a regular basis, be careful. Do not go out here by yourself. Don't think that you protected just because you're a strong woman and whatever, so on and so forth. When people do stuff to people similar to this, they look for the weakest link. They look for people that are sleeping. They look for the ones that are the most vulnerable. They look for the ones that are the most elderly. They look for the ones that they can take advantage of. And people have an insatiable thirst. This is, look, I wouldn't even say that this is probably the first time that this person is ever killed. I would venture to say that this is the first time that they didn't ever got caught. And if it is the first time that they didn't ever kill somebody, it's a strong possibility, because, you know, I'll be watching Mindhunters on Netflix and stuff like that. I watch both seasons. And if it is the first time, they premeditated this. They've been thinking about this for a long time. You just so happen to be the one that was the most vulnerable that they walked into.
Good evening. A person is in custody tonight after 4 people were shot and killed on the Blue Line in Forest Park early this morning.
WGN's Christine Flores is live at the scene with the latest on the investigation.
Ray and Dana, now good evening. Now, this is still an ongoing investigation. Not too long ago, we heard from the mayor, who tells us that the victims were shot while they were sleeping. Now, they have still not been identified.
How is that possible? So wait a minute. 4 people got killed. 3 of them was on the same train. 1 of them was on a different cab or a different train, and all of them got killed while they were sleeping. So you saying that all of them was asleep at the same time and nobody heard nothing? Everybody just got killed and that was it. Nobody woke up when they heard the first gunshot, or the other person that was in the train. And then it's cameras in our buses. I know in Detroit in particular, on the Q line, they got an operator, and it's cameras on the bus, it's cameras on the people mover, it's cameras on the decks where you get onto the bus or on the people movers, it's cameras on the buses, it's cameras on the train, it's cameras on the Q lines, it's cameras at the stoplights, it's cameras everywhere. On the businesses, on the side of the buildings. We have a whole tech center that's dedicated to just monitoring crime. And you know, they do the green light system where you actually can pay to be plugged into an even more extensive system. So how did they just discover them in the morning? And number 2, like, I have so many questions. I don't understand how this person was able to just walk around and they didn't even start to look for them until they discovered the people that was dead once they pulled up to a completely different station. That's crazy to me.
But he does tell us that the suspect is a male, approximately in his 30s. Now, service to the Blue Line is still temporarily suspended as this investigation continues.
Or a migrant.
It's a horrible tragedy that 4 people are dead on Labor Day weekend. Our police department and our fire department respond to this location probably more than any other location
in our jurisdiction.
Forest Park Mayor Rory Hoskins is referring to the Forest Park Transit Center, an area that became the site of an investigation following a shooting that happened just before 5:30 Monday morning on the CTA Blue Line headed westbound, arriving at the Des Plaines Avenue terminal.
We know that there are 4 deceased from this incident. Currently, that suspect is being held at the Forest Park Police Department, and we believe it was only one suspect.
Officials believe the shooting happened in 2 train cars. They say all victims were passengers. 3 people died on scene. A 4th person was taken to Loyola Medical Center, where they were later pronounced dead.
When they say the person that did it, do you see how we become so woke that they'll say, oh, okay, so the person of interest or the person that was arrested was a 34-year-old male. What else? Was he black, white? Did he have dreads? Did he have a bald head? Was he tall? Was he short? I need more details, ma'am. I want to know everything. I want to know, was it a migrant? Was he illegal? Did he have ID on him? I want to know everything. I want to see the picture of the suspect that was arrested. I want to see the mugshot.
Obviously is shocking. It is uncommon, to have a mass shooting like this, especially this close to home.
Forest Park Police and CTA Security captured a description of the suspect through surveillance video. Chicago Police later located a person matching the description on a CTA Pink Line train. That person was taken into custody and a firearm was recovered.
That's good that they have somebody that they think did it. And then other people don't have to be, because if I was on the train, then I would be worried about my ride back.
Forest Park Police detectives have taken over the investigation, along with the West Suburban Major Crimes Task Force. Village officials say they're the only community in the county with 2 major train lines that end in the area. U.S. Congressman Jonathan Jackson of the 1st District sends condolences to the families impacted, saying in part, we must return to the table because the policies, programs, and funding needed to tackle this issue cannot be delayed.
What the fuck is he talking? I'm sorry. I know y'all back at work, so let me be careful. What is he talking about? If it's an isolated incident from one crazy deranged man, then what are we talking about? Policies, programs, and funding needed to be tackled. This cannot be delayed. I hate politicians sometimes, especially black Democratic politicians, because they just be talking. They just be saying anything. We must return to the table because of the policies, programs, and the funding needed to tackle this issue cannot be delayed. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Forest Park officials are asking leaders in Springfield to consider their safety concerns.
It's for experts to determine what it looks like. But what we've learned is that, over the last few years, our number of responses have increased exponentially. And so we're calling on our leadership, countywide, statewide, to invest more resources to support a small community like Forest Park and secure in this area.
I don't understand. It's a train. Do y'all want a cop on every train? Do y'all need a cop on every train? Has it become so deplorable in those cities and those conditions and on those trains that y'all need a cop in every city or something? What the fuck?
The mayor did describe surveillance video of the incident as, quote, brutal and gruesome. We'll have more of that interview coming up at 6 o'clock. Now, if you are looking for an alternative to the closure of this blue line, the green line is a good alternative.
Can't even rap public transportation, but listen, condolences out to the family. I hope that everybody is okay. I guess everybody not okay, but condolences out to the families of the people that was slain and needlessly taken out in this situation. We're going to get over to the migrant crisis considering this after I read a few of the super chats, and then we're going to continue over with the show. Steve B in the building says, I pray that us African Americans start to do our own research and citing and voting in the president and not listen to the buffoons being promoted to speak for us. I'm gonna be honest with you, Steve. I think that the first thing that we got to do is we got to stop aligning ourselves with people just based off of our identity. Just call me a man. Just call me American. I'm not an African American. I ain't never been to Africa. I'm not black. You're not gonna just throw a color on me based off of none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that the first thing that we got to do, me personally, this is my opinion. This is just my opinion, is that the reason why people have such a problem with other people speaking for them is because they've automatically identified them as your leader based off of what you identify yourself as. So now, instead of me just being a regular everyday person that can do my own research and vote for myself, I have to either align with or disconnect with a certain person and say, hey man, that person don't speak for me just because they black. I shouldn't even have to do that. I shouldn't have to do that. I'm Anton. I'm Anton. That's who I am. Salvation is individual. My family is my family, not your family. You don't know them. You ain't never seen them before. I ain't never been to Africa. You're not going to call me an African American. I'm not that. I'm Anton Daniels right here. And right now I'm visiting Dallas and I'll be back in Detroit tonight. So, honest to God, like the minute that we stop focusing on whether or not we should be identified as something, or you got 10% in your blood or something like that, then we'll start to have a better outcome. But because you feel beholden to it, or people expect for you to, that's what we subject ourselves to. Shout out to Steve. I appreciate you. Oop Milk is in the building, says blue, red, pink. I gotta I gotta move. This is crazy. Shout out to my Chicagoans out here in the streets. Charles Halbert says only homeless people sleep on a train at night. Spoken from somebody behind the lines. That's what I was thinking too. A7 Keys. I wonder if they can even find them people's families. A7 Keys says the Blue Line is the worst train to ride on the West Side section. Constant crime. Homeless sleep on there overnight because it's a 24/7 ride. So maybe the guy felt like he was doing the city a service by removing people off of it. I don't agree with it, but maybe that's what he was thinking. J Dub says the camera on the train aren't a live feed, actively monitored. You have to view the feed afterward, which is how they caught him on the pink line. Huh. Why is it not a live feed? Why don't they have? Let me be quiet. Teflon Barber says, why hasn't Harris reached out to Stacey Abrams to get the Georgia votes like they did in 2020? We'll be joining the bag chasers soon. Shout out to the new bag chasers that's out here in the street. Jeremy H says, on train, I don't wear headphones. I sit with my back to the wall. Smart man. I sit with my back. I don't even sit with my back to the door a lot of times when I go to restaurants. It's just by default. A7 Keys says the cops are out on there on some nights. Okay, well, they wasn't on that one, I guess. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's pivot for a minute. I want to start getting into this migrant crisis. So we're going to spend a little bit of time on this migrant crisis before we go into the reaction video, because it's a woman that y'all sent me a video for that says that she was on her way to being homeless and she's a single mother. But before we do that, I want to get into this migrant crisis and spend a couple minutes on this.
Former President Trump has promised to launch the largest deportation operation in American history, and he has blamed the Biden administration for a historic number of illegal border crossings in recent years. But those crossings have fallen sharply since the Biden administration implemented new asylum restrictions in June. CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez has more.
Hoy te deportaron de los Estados Unidos. You were deported from the U.S. today.
Sí,
this morning.
Hoy en la mañana.
In the morning. How are you feeling now? ¿Cómo te sientes ahora?
Pues estoy desesperado porque no sé qué voy a hacer.
You don't know what you're going to do.
Quiero regresar.
We found that desperation is all too familiar in this border town, where scores of migrants are routinely turned away by the U.S.
We're in Nogales, Mexico. As you can see, the U.S. is just a few yards away in that direction. But for many of the migrants here behind me, it is now completely out of reach. They were deported just this morning from the U.S. under President Biden's executive order on asylum.
So, let's stop there. All right? Let's stop there and let's have a conversation. Yo, Biden, we appreciate you for finally getting up off of your slow butt. And whoever is controlling this country, maybe it's Kamala Harris, I don't know, because she said that she helps in the decisions. Thank you for finally closing off the borders and starting to get these people up out of here. Here's my question. Because every single time that I have a debate with somebody and I have to clear up, hey, listen, you didn't need a bipartisan deal that y'all say that Trump killed, that Kamala Harris is over there championing on her Democratic speech, on a national rally and all of that. And y'all saying that y'all now getting control of what was happening at the border. You didn't get no new funding. You don't have no bipartisan support. You don't have no new equipment. You didn't hire any more Homeland Security agents. But for some reason, over the last 2.5 months, we've been able to successfully stem the tide as far as the overwhelming amount of migrants that are coming into this country illegally. And we're also starting to deport them. So here's my question. Okay? Because I'm going to have a deeper talk on my vlog tomorrow morning about this. Here's my question. Why or what is the difference between now and 2023, which, by the way, is more than 2 to 3 years after all of the migrants that came in, the estimated 10 to 15 migrants that came in more than any other time in our lifetime. What is the difference between then where you were seeking bipartisan support and trying to add in a bunch of stuff inside of that bill that included funding to other countries and these proxy wars that we're a part of? What is the difference between then and now? Why did we need bipartisan agreement in order for y'all to do in an executive order, which you should have been doing in the first place, and enforcing the laws that we already have on the books and making sure that we don't have people coming into this country illegally? Just curious. I'll wait. Because the only thing that the only thing that they could say in the first place, which they were wrong again, that people try to come in, well, he killed the bipartisan border deal because they get their talking points from Kamala Harris at the Democratic National Convention. And because they didn't do their research and because they didn't actually read the bill, they don't know, right? And so similar to what happened last night between that lady that was loud and wrong, what is the difference between then and now? Why the last 2.5 months have we been able to stop the bleeding, put a Band-Aid on it and start to get these mother out of here? What is the difference between then and now? I don't understand. Anybody, somebody tell me why they got Juan Man and Jesus and Manuel is over there getting deported and they saying, listen, man, we don't know what we supposed to do. You shouldn't have never came over here in the first place. You should have never came over here in the first place. That's the answer that I got to the people that say, Anton, don't you have compassion for the people that's trying to get over here? No, I don't. I think that other countries need to fix their own country, and it's not our responsibility to get involved in what it is that other people got going on. Because if you are going to get involved, then we need to fix the worst atrocities, and we need to fix what's going on over there in Sudan and the Congo, because we ain't got nothing to say about over there. I guess they ain't got enough of what we want in order for us to actually get involved with that. Listen, just yesterday morning, they had drone strikes that was literally hitting Russia, courtesy of Ukraine. We know what it really is. It's drone strikes that literally are tearing into the oil refineries and the oil plants that they have over there in Russia. Arms still getting chopped off over in the Congo. Genocide on a scale hitherto unknown is happening over there in Sudan. Children dying from malnutrition. Oh, so we can mind our business when it comes to the worst atrocities that happen in the world. But when it comes, and I'm not saying that we should participate or we should or we shouldn't, but what I'm asking is, what constitutes for us to get involved in one conflict worldwide, internationally, versus the other? And how are we able to stem the tide and control the border now? And we still don't have no bipartisan deal. But then y'all wasn't able to do so in 2023. And y'all fought Trump tooth and nail the entire time when he was trying to do more for the border when he was in office. Interesting.
That order has shut down asylum processing between legal entry points at the U.S.-Mexico border, allowing officials to ramp up deportations of migrants crossing illegally.
And so you see dozens of people, families with children, deported every morning.
Every morning. It's 24/7.
Dora Rodriguez crossed the U.S. border herself.
So the buses aren't used to now send them into the U.S. The buses is used to get them out of here when they cross over here illegally. Okay.
In the 1980s to escape the civil war in El Salvador. She comes to Nogales every week with other American volunteers to offer food and guidance to deportees in need.
You know, they don't even know where they're at.
They don't know where they
They don't
are.
even know where they are.
Should have never came over here in the first place. That sounds like a personal issue. We're going to do you the same thing that we do to these single baby mamas. That sounds like a personal issue. Go back to your baby daddy and go back to your country.
Or what to do.
Right. So we encourage them to go to the shelters, local shelters in this area, to get a bath, to take a good meal.
The Biden administration says the new measures are partly why illegal border crossings have hit a 4-year low. But according to Rodriguez, those policies mean people fleeing danger are being turned away.
They're fleeing violence from organized crimes, from gangs, hunger. So they're no criminals.
Hey, didn't Mexico just get a new female president? Didn't Mexico just get it? Hold on. I think Mexico just got a new female president. What's her name? Sheinbaum. Claudia Sheinbaum. She just was elected as Mexico's first female president in a historic. Y'all got a landslide. She made history. We covered it back in June. Remember when we was covering it on the Millionaire Morning Show back in June? For all of y'all that's been rocking with me for an extended period of time. Yeah, y'all got a new female president. Let her handle it.
You know, and they are yet punished.
Tell her to fix her borders and them coming in through her borders in order to come in through our borders, and then we all can be happy. You fix your house. I often tell people on the record, Anton, what can I do for you? Anton, how can I contribute? The best way you can do for me is to do for yourself and pick up the stuff off of your own lawn. Listen, as long as you prevent them from walking on your lawn, they won't make a mistake and start to walk on my lawn because they don't know where the property line ends. Your people is walking over on my lawn, so now I got to put a bigger fence up so that they don't walk on my lawn on our property line. You know what I'm saying?
Our laws. These people is traumatized for a lifetime.
You wanted to protect your daughters. Querías proteger a tus hijas.
Rosales and her daughters had been deported that morning. She says her family fled their hometown in Mexico after a man started harassing her daughters.
Quería darle la explicación.
Call the police. Call a Mexican Telemundo. What's Telemundo? Is that television? Call the policia. Policia. Call the Mexican policia. Oh, so your baby daddy started getting at you. You better go and get some. Hey. We hold women accountable over here in the United States of America for being with the wrong man. Call the policia and let them handle it. Call Claudia. Claudia gonna handle it.
You wanted to explain to U.S. officials why you came.
Federales.
Pero no te dieron
That's
esa
right.
oportunidad. You
No.
did not get that chance.
Nada.
Are you planning to potentially enter the U.S. again?
Yep.
Sí,
Yes.
por mis hijas,
Because of your daughters.
por mis hijas. Arriesga uno por su
Pero
familia
te
todo.
pueden deportar otra vez. They can deport you again.
Lo sé,
You know that.
lo sé. Pero hay veces que hay que arriesgar todo.
You're willing to take that risk.
A risk many will still take, despite.
Call the Mexico Policia, call the Federales, call the Telemundos, whatever it is that you got to call. But we not having it over here in the United States of America unless Kamala Harris win again. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, some of the ones that are already over here, the illegal migrants, they waiting at the bus stop with your kids.
Parents in California say a group of 20 migrants tried to board a school bus that was picking up young children. Nicole Cardinale is the mother of one of those children who was on the bus, and she joins me now. Can you just tell us exactly what happened?
Yes, so a couple mornings ago, my son was on his way to school and a neighboring bus stop. There were 20 illegal immigrants that did try to attempt to board his bus. I assume, back to San Diego City.
So they were looking for transportation more than anything else, but I guess the kids were scared to death, right?
Oh, yes.
All buses are the same over there. Listen. They don't care nothing about you. You know what they focus on? They got to get to where they got to go to. And as long as that bus look like a bus, they don't care if it's yellow. They don't care if it's a city bus. We getting on these buses. I don't care if it's a bunch of kids over there. Listen, your kids ain't safe. You know how we used to be able to send our kids to the bus stop and they can get on the bus? I used to walk to the bus stop every morning and catch the bus downtown in order to go to school. Now, these is little kids. I used to walk to and from school every single day. When I was in middle school, I walked to school. When I was in high school, I had to catch the bus to school. And sometimes when I was in elementary school, we walked to school. We was safe enough for us to do so. We was cool with it. Or maybe it wasn't safe enough for us to do so, but we definitely did it. We stayed in groups. We chilled. When I got to high school, we did what we had to do. I would catch the bus. It would take me a little more than 30, 35 minutes in order to get to school downtown. And we made it happen. We made it shake. Same thing for Rita. Rita used to catch the bus from Joy Road all the way to school downtown. She never got dropped off. She caught the bus to school. Then straight from school to work. Since she was 15 years old, she would catch it up to McDonald's. And then after our shift ended, sometimes her mother would pick her up, or sometimes she would catch the bus back home. That's just the way that it was. We had to get it out the mud. We had to get it out the mud. Now your kids is fighting with illegal migrants in order to get to and from where they got to go. So be very, very careful. Biden said that he's getting tougher on crime, even though they don't have a bipartisan agreement. Somehow they're able to get the border closed off for them to get themselves together. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go over to the next portion of the show. Did you hear about the Army taking over NYC hotels? No, y'all have not sent me the articles. Send them to me. Send them. Send them. Truth with Ease says it's called election season, boo boo. I see you, baby. It's called election season. Daddy Day Trip says here's some game. There are 195 U.S. recognized countries. 155 receive aid from the U.S. Everyone business is our business. Google it. No, guess what? You know what's so interesting about that? They not receiving aid from the U.S. They receiving aid from us. From Anton, from Daddy Day Trips, from Mars, Derek Perry, Jason Lee, Tax Smith, Sister, Molly, everybody that's in the chat right now that pay taxes and take care of their business, y'all supporting all of these other countries. So shout out to y'all. I want to put some spin on that. I want to put some hot sauce, some seasoning on that. Mars says, baby daddy is not a reason to seek asylum. Talking about a man hit her. She didn't say her country was in turmoil. She didn't say that there was war breaking out. She said my baby daddy beat me up. Girl, if you don't go back to your baby daddy and start acting right. Derek Perry says Sudan and Congo are both civil wars. Jason Lee is in the building and says a Jewish woman as the president of Mexico. You can't make this ish up. Not even a pothead down at Penn Station would think of this. Tax Smith is in the building and says, I'm in a bind. Could you get us a coyote to get us across the Rio Grande? Or call Telemundo, you know what I'm saying? Michael Johnson says, in Erykah Badu voice, you better call Pedro. Shout out to Michael Johnson. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you for holding me down. Let's move over into the next portion of the show. Now, this is something that I think would be interesting to review. Again, y'all sent this to me. And this is a woman. Let me make sure that I give a shout out to the content creators. Her name is Markeisha. Are you with me? As of the recording of this video, she have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So her story is resonating with people. Again, her name is Markeisha Renee. Markeisha Renee. All right, that's her name. Her story is coming up now. And y'all want me to review this, so I have not checked out the video. I'm going to be reviewing it in real time. But she is a single mother. A single mother that is preparing to be homeless. That is the name of her video. If y'all like her content, then go and check out her content on her channel. Okay? Let's get into it and let's see what's happening.
Beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Markeisha Renee. Y'all, I am in the middle of doing Uber Eats and DoorDash, and I decided to go ahead and pick up the camera and talk to you guys a little bit about some stuff that has been on my mind. Well, actually stuff that's always on my mind, you guys. Hopefully the road noise of the car does not get
a lot of people
y'all.
think that I got new glasses. I don't have new glasses. If you go back and watch some of the live streams that I used to do on Wednesday night, if you look at some of the interviews I've done, you can see me wear these glasses sometimes. So I wanted to switch it up. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to wear the Biggie Versace's or whatever. I got these. I got a lot of different glasses. So some y'all have seen, some y'all have not, but these are not new glasses. Shout out to the people that have been rocking with me for a while. You know what I do. You know, I got a whole bevy of sexy specs.
y'all, because I know in the past people have told me that the car noise is
I want
so
to look at this. I want to get the whole thing. Hold on.
beautiful. People welcome. Always on my mind, you guys. Hopefully the road noise of the car does not get to y'all talking, so I do apologize. I just wanted to touch on being a single mom and living alone, having to work 24/7 just to be able to keep up with bills. You know, majority of my income is what supports the kids, and I don't have very much income, so I literally have to grind and make money every day in order to stay afloat. And that's just stay afloat. My head is still sinking, you guys. Like, the water's probably up to here for me. Like, I can, listen, y'all see what I'm trying to get at?
Mm-hmm.
The water is up to here on me, you guys. I'm pretty much drowning. And it's like, when you talk to people about this stuff, excuse me, y'all.
Baby girl. This is one thing I know. No matter what your current financial situation is, no matter how many gig works you got to do, no matter if you're a single baby mama or the chick that's working from home or getting taken care of by a man, y'all gonna have to cover y'all mouth. Y'all have to cover y'all mouth. Y'all can't just be coughing over everybody. That's not kosher. That's not good. That's not kosher. That shows bad manners. No, like this. Like this. You know what I'm saying? You want to do it at the bottom too to make sure there ain't no germs coming out the bottom. Whatever you got to do. I got to start covering your mouths when y'all cough, yo.
Trying to talk loud.
Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. For the more than 4,100 people that's watching this right now and growing, y'all got to make sure that y'all hit a like for the algorithm. The likes is anemic. And then also on top of that, send it to Gam Gam. And if y'all not a part of the Patreon, a link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We got Sock Club coming up this weekend, and y'all gonna want to be a part of that.
My voice is cracking. When you talk to people about this stuff or try to, have somebody understand where you're coming from, they like to say, oh, well, go get a second job or go get a man, go get a side hustle.
Go back to your baby daddy.
I got side hustles, y'all. Y'all already know that. So, they like to say, oh, go do this, go do that. And it's like, I don't mind working. Y'all, my work ethic is so crazy. Like, I'll work till the wheels fall off. I'll work to death. I'll kill myself working. That's how much I don't mind working. Because I know that I have to make money and I know that I have to
Shout out to your granny, Missy Mathematician. Let me ask y'all a question. When y'all be doing all of these 2 and 3 jobs, ladies, I got a lot of questions that I'm going to be asking. Before I give y'all how I feel about this situation as I react to it. And again, make sure y'all go and check out her content. And if you like her content, subscribe and tell her I sent you. Where do y'all kids be when y'all be working this hard? Because I know for example, my DoorDash drivers, when I see single women pull up, you know what I'm saying, and they come and they deliver the DoorDash sometimes, they kids be with them in the car. Sometimes they baby daddy that ain't even got no job with them is in the car. And they don't be having no front bumper and stuff like that. But where is the kids at when y'all working these 2 and 3 jobs? And don't just tell me that they at school, because y'all said y'all got 2 or 3 jobs and y'all do gig work. So where are the kids at during this time?
take care of these kids. But when people say that stuff, it just makes me think in the back of my head, like, do y'all know that if I was to literally work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that I would never see my kids? Why does life have to be like this? Why do we have to be away from our kids in order to make money in today's world?
Why do we have to be away from our kids in order to make money in today's world? Let me hear that one more time.
Away from our kids in order to make money in today's world.
I thought that was the way that it always has been. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the way that it's always been? Is that we always had to be that, for the most part, you had to be away from, because if you're not away from your kids, then that means that you're gonna be doing the thing. What's the scene? What was the chick? We knew who on Set It Off, right? We knew who Queen Latifah was. We knew that Jada Pinkett was. We knew who Vivica Fox was, but it was the other chick that was on there, the one that wound up being in that movie, that Tyler Perry movie, where she was mad at her man and stuff like that. And she was talking to Shamar Moore with the bad braids, with that bad wig braids on. Remember when she used to take her kid to work, and she was saying that I need this money, and then Vivica Fox was trying not to give her the money, and she was like, she ain't do nothing because she had ran out of the bank when they was robbing it. Then you're gonna be like her. You're gonna be taking your kid to Luther's janitorial service. This is Luther's janitorial service. And Luther don't play that. Luther don't like that. Luther don't like it when you bring your kids overnight, because then he end up in a hospital. You know what I'm saying? Because he was sniffing chemicals and stuff like that over in the bathroom. I'm just telling you what the movie was. If y'all never seen Set It Off, it's a great movie that foreshadows what all of those women's lives was going to be. They told you what Vivica Fox was going to turn out like. She for the streets. They told you that Jada Pinkett was going to be in the bind, and then next thing you know, she was going to let August Alsina get to her. She wasn't going to be faithful. Queen Latifah, ditto. You know what I'm saying? And then the other one was in a bind. And so that's when she started taking her kids to Luther's janitorial service. It says Luther's janitorial service. That's what he said in the movie. You know what I'm saying? And so she had to take her kid to work. Let me get back to the video. I'll be getting distracted. It is what it is. Let's continue.
Why do we have to be away from our kids 24/7 in order to be able to have a roof over our head? It shouldn't be like this. The cost of living is inhumane. The cost of goods and services is inhumane, you guys. This is not normal. And it makes me so upset because people are always like, oh, you're always complaining about, how you're struggling and how you can't do this and that. Yeah, because I'm a single mom of 3 kids. I'm going to complain all day. It's hard. It's not easy. So I wonder why people make it seem like this is so easy. It can't be. I think because I'm talking about it and I'm saying something.
Let me tell y'all something. As a woman that is about to go homeless, a single mom that is preparing herself to be homeless, why isn't this part, because I actually appreciate her and I show her love, why isn't this part the part that people talk about when they congratulating y'all on Facebook and Instagram? Okay, queen, leave your man. Listen, he did this. Girl, he talked negative to you. Oh my God, I can't believe this. How come this ain't the part that y'all talk about when y'all get pregnant and y'all always hit the clap button for them? When I see the congratulations emojis and the champagne emojis and stuff. How come this ain't the part that y'all want to talk about? I was very, very intentional, man. We was counting the costs. We was thinking about how it was going to change our lives if I decided to have a kid. Okay, so listen, and that means, honestly, I put everything all of my dreams as far as me traveling, going to certain places, because the priority was my daughter. And I said that I'm only going to have one. I'm only going to have one so that I don't have to separate resources. Now, if I wanted to have another kid, I'm not saying that I am, but now if I wanted to have another kid, I have an extraordinary amount of resources and I have the capacity as far as I can control what it is that I'm doing in order to play a larger role in that kid's life. So I am very intentional. We was very, very intentional. We even considered not having a kid at all. But how come people are just popping out babies and then they get mad at society, knowing that it costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars? I would estimate that for my child, when you consider all of the costs and then college coming up and all of this stuff, I would estimate that it's probably going to cost, by the time that she gets married and if they decide to leave, it's probably going to cost me well over $1 million to raise my child. One child, $1 million. Easy, without a doubt. Now, I know that I am blessed. And I know that I have the ability because, I bought her a car and she has the best of everything and she has the best training. But I'm talking about extracurricular activities, travel. I'm talking about dental appointments, clothes, you know what I'm saying? Her taekwondo, her tuition, all of those things. I don't want my child to be born into poverty. I never wanted my daughter to lean into a poverty-stricken environment, or to be in a position where she had to be a latchkey kid, or to be in a position to where her mother couldn't be a mother to her, and then she had to then be taught stuff in the daycare by somebody that I don't even fucking know. I didn't never wanted my daughter to be a part of that. I didn't even start really breaking out and start doing what I was gonna do until after my daughter got to the point to where she could drive and her mother is still in her life. And I don't think that we're serious enough about how we're affecting these children's lives. And so, to an extent, I have a level of empathy. I have a level of sympathy of what she's saying. But on another lens, I don't, because it's almost like you made this decision to lay down and open up your legs to somebody. And then also, you didn't take into consideration the cost of what it was going to take to put these kids through college, of what it was going to take, and not to have them asking Biden for student loan forgiveness, of what it was going to take in order to ensure that they had the best opportunities. And we know too much. We know way too much to still be in this situation that we in today.
About it, it triggers some people. I don't know why, but yo, I'm doing DoorDash, so I got some orders popping up. All right, my bad, you guys. I just picked up a DoorDash order, but it's like I don't even know where I was at, y'all. But I'm just wondering, why do we have to work this hard? I want to tell you guys right now, every month I'm 1 month away from being homeless. Every single month, you guys. I cannot afford my rent every single month.
So, ladies, tell me how strong and independent y'all are again. Tell me how you don't need no man. Because I've been hearing that for at least the last 4 years. For at least the last 4 years, I've been hearing women tell me in particular, about we balling, we don't need y'all, we the most educated, we the most enrolled, we don't need no man, we can take care of our kids, I can do good by myself, waiting to exhale. Savannah, that's a good man. That's a good man, Savannah. That's a good man. The only woman that wound up getting a man in that movie was the big one. The only woman that wound up getting the one man in that movie was the big one. And she just so happened to be the single baby mama. The other ones, hold on, let me see something. Savannah didn't have a kid. The other one that kept having Leon come over, she had got pregnant. She was choosing to be a single baby mama. Angela Bassett, she wound up being an independent woman. And she wound up finessing my man, but it didn't matter. She was gonna run out of money eventually anyway, because 2024, she would be broke by now. The only woman that really got a man was the big one with the short hair. And her kid was grown. She kept cooking every day and switching to walking down the street. Never mind me. Let me get back to the video.
But I sit here and I do everything that I can to scrape up this money to try to pay this rent every single month. But every month I don't have it. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you guys. I don't have it.
Go talk to a migrant.
I get up every day and I try to get it every day. Some of y'all know I'm working a job that pays nothing, you guys. It pays $18 an hour. I don't even get full-time hours at the job. So when I'm spending, you know, days at the job, the commute to the job and then the commute home is a full day. My kids are being watched by somebody for a full day. I didn't make enough money for that day, you guys. So I have to come out here and do DoorDash and Uber Eats and all this stuff to make extra money.
That's what men do.
I done already spent my full day going to this $18 an hour job, and then I have to tend to kids after that because nobody can watch my kids for 24 hours. So I got to get the kids, and then sometimes, y'all, I got to take the kids with me out dashing. And we're out all day, all night sometimes.
I've seen these type of women. I told you. The kids be in the car. They be in the car. They be suffering. They be tired. Their hair be nappy. You know what I'm saying? Breath is stinking. Keep on saying, can I use the bathroom? I had one woman that pulled up to me to the door there. She said, do you got a bathroom in there? I said, yeah, come on in here, baby girl. And so, I started eating my DoorDash in front of them and stuff like that. Because, in my building, I didn't, this was at the studio and I was working late night. And so she says, you got a bathroom where I can take my kids or whatever? And I said, yeah, come on in. So she came in and I started, because, the way that I order my DoorDash, it's disrespectful. It's so disrespectful. Because The way I do my DoorDash is this. All right, this is the way I do my DoorDash, and then I gotta get ready. I gotta get ready to go and film. But the way I do my DoorDash is different, right? Because what I like to do is I look at the whole menu, and then I look at everything that look good to me, and I just order it all, and then I pick and choose. I don't want that one right now. I don't want this one. So I put my DoorDash down, and I'm like, I'm just eating. I had a BLT, a bacon, lettuce, and tomato. Had a little extra pepper on it. It's really, really good, right? So I'm eating. I could see her little son over there, like, it almost was like a movie. It was almost like a movie because it was almost like I could see her little son's stomach rumble up. I couldn't actually see it, but I could just imagine how hungry he was, right? His hair wasn't brushed. And so, I'm up there eating. I had my presidential Rolex on my arm or whatever, and so I'm having a good time. Yeah. I'm like, "Hey, how long is little homie gonna be?" All right, cool. So then she gonna put the kids in the car. She gonna say, "So what do you do, ma'am? If you and little Junebug don't go ahead and get out of here, I already gave y'all an extra tip, and I let you use my restroom. If you and Junebug and don't get on back out there and go and get back to your baby daddy. If you and Junebug don't go ahead and get on in that car, Nas, I, this right here, I know you're in the bind, baby. I'm telling you, I see them all the time. All the time I see them. And for some reason, I don't know if I'm so broken. Because you know how women like to say, "Who hurt you? Who hurt you?" I don't know if I'm so broken mentally to where I just don't have any sympathy anymore for society. That's why that's why he only let us live to like 100 years, because we'll become so much savages and so have no empathy for anybody anymore that we'll just become so evil. Anyways, let's go ahead and get some more in our story, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Dashing, because that's what I have to do in order to stay afloat. I don't get any type of rental assistance. I don't get any type of, benefits except food benefits, you guys. And the food benefits that I do get, it's not full food benefits because I'm working. So when I run out of those benefits for the month to feed the kids, I got to spend cash on food, because that's
what you're supposed to do.
And y'all, I'm not complaining in this video. I'm literally just ranting to you guys, venting you guys, telling you guys what it is for me. I know this is probably what it is for a lot of other people.
Maddie to you says, Maddie is relatively new here, I could tell. She's not familiar with our dark humor here over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. Maddie says, "I don't find this funny. She didn't make those babies alone. Men are supposed to be held accountable. We are. We got to pay child support. If we don't pay it, we go to jail. There are no shelters for us." Listen, Maddie, listen, baby. This is what men have been talking about, that we don't have any safety net, and no matter what happens, we got to grind and work and go and get it no matter what. This is the thing that we was warning y'all about with feminism, Maddie. This is the thing that we've been warning y'all about. Don't go out there and have children out of wedlock. Be very careful of who it is that you open up your legs to, right? You don't want to be equal with men, because it's going to be bad. It's going to be hard. And the things that men go out for, it's not made for hips. It's made for shoulders, Maddie. It's not. It's not made for that. Now, I know, Maddie, that you are the type of person, because, you are a woman and you're emotional and all of that stuff. But guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your feelings. Nobody cares about what you're going through. You're going to have to get it out the mud, because this is what y'all said that y'all wanted. You got to get it out the mud. Welcome to life. Welcome to equalization. Welcome to being held accountable for y'all decisions, which y'all have largely avoided y'all entire life. Nobody cares about me. Listen. You know what would happen if I went broke today and I went homeless? They would laugh. They will make all kind of videos about me. They will say, "Oh my God, Anton, it's dusty now. Ain't nobody coming to give me no food." Do you think they're gonna look out for me? You think that they're gonna say, "Oh man, where's the mother? Why is she not helping him? Where's his ex-wife? Why is she not helping him?" No, that's just the way that it is. Anton is dusty. Nobody cares. He gonna be like Delonte West. Let's just keep it moving. Now rebuke that devil. Rebuke that devil. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna be very intentional when we back chasers. But my point is that this is what it feels like to be a man. Welcome to the club.
People too, but I'm just speaking about it. So I know I'm gonna get opinions, and I know I'm gonna have people saying, what they want to say. That's cool.
Somebody said that they gonna look. What does being a Trump supporter have to be with I'm a fault? Hey, they've been saying that for the last 40 years, big dog. I'm so rich. Let me show you something. You see this? You ever seen one of these before? This is the top of the top, big dog. Do you know how much money that this costs? Huh? You see this? Let me show you something. Do you know how insane my brokerage account is? Do you know how much money that I have? I am unprecedentedly rich. I'm not even sure that the people from Detroit really expected for this to happen. Let me tell you something, big dog. I'm so rich. If you want to see what my deposits are, you're more than welcome to join the Patreon, and then you can get you some game on how things could be better because you're saying better things are coming. I am so insanely rich that I would project that maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, I'm only gonna fly private. I am so rich. It's insane. Bro, my car collection is crazy. I have over $500,000 in watches alone. My insurance is insane. I build houses for people. Don't wait on it. Don't wait on it. Because I'm going to be rich and I'm going to heaven. Let me get back to this woman.
You guys, I made this channel to speak my mind, and I gotta talk about it, y'all. So to me, it's really baffling when I talk to people about this, and people make it seem like life is not hard. This is hard. Every single day, having to get up and make money 7 days a week. There's not a day that I could really take a break, you guys.
Let me show you something. Listen, I'm in a good mood today. I'm in a very good mood today. What's today? The 3rd? Let me show you something. I know you don't know, but you're going to learn today. I just want to show you something, bro. Let me show you this one. What month was that? August? What month is this? September? I haven't done this in a while. Sometimes I got to help people and remind them that there's levels to this, okay? I'm going to show you something that you probably never seen before in your life. Shout out to all of the rappers. Shout out to the people that think that they're getting money. I'm going to show you something that you never seen before in your entire life. You want to see how much money I spent in August of 2024? This is how much money I spent, right? Let me show you something. Let me make sure I turn this around correctly so you can see it. So, August, let me see this. See that? August 2024? And this is the Chase app. See that? See that Chase app right there? That's how much I spent in August. That's August. I'm gonna show you July. July. We're gonna go to June. That's June. That's June. We're gonna go to May. That's May. That's May. That's what I spent in May. Listen, bro. If you waiting on me to fall off, you want to go? Listen, I can go into my other account. That's spending. Join the bag chasers.
I'll sit around and like lounge around for a little bit and try to rest and, just, get some rest because my body be running 24.
I feel bad even continuing to review this video right now after what I just did. I feel so bad. I feel so bad even reviewing this video at this point. Listen. There's a lesson in this. I'm gonna read super chat. I'm gonna read the super chat. There's a lesson in this because I got to get ready and I got to go and take care of some business. So here's the lesson in this. All right. Nobody cares. At the end of the day, nobody cares. All of this pretending. I don't wear no chains. I wear a hoodie. I'm chilling, slow motion. Nobody, honestly, honest to God, nobody cares about your plight, about your situation. Some of y'all think that a lot of these people um are these Democrats, these Republicans is gonna come and save you. They not. Nobody is gonna save you. When you open up your legs and you decide to have children with a baby daddy, nobody is gonna come save you. Nobody is gonna fix your situation. Nobody is coming to fix it. Women advocated for equal. They gave y'all money over to the migrants. I pay an insane. Well, maybe that's not true, but y'all paying y'all paying an insane amount of money to these representatives that is going to defund y'all schools. They removing the police officers, and they gonna completely 100% ruin y'all lives. You know why? Because nobody cares. Genuinely, nobody cares. And it's so funny because as I was walking in the airport yesterday, and shout out to all of the people that kicked it with me in the airport yesterday, I was talking to some people off camera after I got off my recording. I'm like, man, where's all of this money coming from? Why are all of these people just taking flights and stuff like that? And what I realized is there really is a class war that's happening out here. It's a class war. And it's three different categories of people, okay? Actually, it's four, but I'm going to stick to the three. You got the top of the top, the people that's really getting to it, right? And it's all types of millionaires. It's a difference between making $1 million a year and making $3 million a year versus making $10 million a year versus making $30 million a year. And then there's also the net worth people, right? So all of those different categories of people, they got big problems, but they can solve that because they already got more money coming in and they can recoup. If I fuck up this month, I can go and get another 50,000 next month, 60,000, 100,000 next month. I could fix that problem. You see what I'm saying? And so it's people that's really living it and getting it. But then you also have the people that think that they're in the middle class, right? And this is a second category of people. Most people that are making between $50,000 and $120,000 a year, especially the people that's making $100,000 a year or more, they paying the most taxes and they mostly living paycheck to paycheck. They're paying the most taxes and they're living paycheck to paycheck. To be in the middle class is basically to be the ones that is in the worst position possible. And the reason that is because they're going to play on your feelings and they're going to play on your emotions and the things that happen to these politicians because you don't know the game, because you don't really understand that you were supposed to stay down and then leverage your assets in order to continue to make money. And then I could show you how to keep more money because it's not just about how much money you make, but instead they wanted to seem more middle class. So you ran out and you grabbed that Cadillac Escalade and you grabbed that BMW. And so while I was making millions of dollars and I was continuing to reinvest in myself so that I wouldn't have to depend on anybody for the rest of my life. And then I started showing money and I still stayed in my mom's basement. I still stayed in an apartment building where my father was the maintenance guy in order to prevent myself from having to pay any rent whatsoever. And so because we were leveraging our opportunities in group economics in order to make money and then make sure that we reinvested in ourselves while you was trying to impress people with your little $100,000 a year job, and you wasn't reinvesting back into yourself, and instead you went to buy things to impress people that don't even care nothing about you, now you are in the position that you're in. And so what you're finding people doing is that they're complaining, they're broken, they're heartbroken, they're busted and disgusted, they don't have no money. Instead, they use their debt and they use their credit cards in order to continue to keep up with the Joneses and stuff like that. And they mad at me. And so when I sit here and I pull up my bank accounts or I show you my spending, or a lot of the bag chasers is familiar with the fact that I have 8 sources of income. Yep, I'm still in corporate America. See, I don't worry about what people think. I just keep getting to it. And they've been telling me I'm gonna fall off. They've been telling me I ain't gonna be able to keep up the pace. They telling me that I'm gonna need this. Oh man, God is gonna get me. No, God loves me. He told me yesterday. He said, Anton, I love you more than I love a lot of these people out here. I love you. I love you. You one of them ones. You one of the great ones. And so I don't answer the man, I answer the God. And the beautiful thing about that is that I'm not looking for a handout. I'm not looking for somebody to give me something. I'm not even looking for empathy. I believe that I get everything that I deserve, good or bad. It's just the hand that I was dealt. That's just what men do. We make the best out of our situation and we're not tripping about it. We're not tripping about it. A lot of the bag chasers are familiar. I show my W-2s on the Patreon. I show my deposits on the Patreon. I show how much money I make. I show them how to also get it and leverage the same information and get it quicker than I got it. That way they don't have to go through the trial and error. They could just get straight to it if they learn the lesson. Right? I also teach people that money don't make you a better person and make you more of what you already are. Right? So you can't just get a bunch of money and then start being out here spreading your seed all wild or, busting down a bunch of chicks because you're going to lose it just as fast as you got it. So you wishing something on me don't mean nothing because you still got to be you at the end of the day. You still got a whole bunch of debt. You still using your credit cards to go and keep up with people. You still got to do your DoorDash and then you got to bring me that food. Don't be mad at me. You still got a little nug over there. And just because you keep going to Tulum every other weekend, just because you keep on catching that spirit flight to the Dominican Republic and Sosua and busting down a little chick, don't mean that you're not going to have to face the consequences of your actions that come along with it. And so here's my point, is that nobody seems to be broke, but everybody really are. Now, of course, we're going to disclude a minority of people because we know that some people are making better decisions. Shout out to the bag chasers. And even if you're not rich yet, you're trending that way because you're making better decisions. But for those of you that refuse to take responsibility because you want to get mad at me because I don't have the same level of empathy and I was born in the inner city in Detroit and I made my way out of the hood and I gave my daughter and my wife a better opportunity, you feeling some type of way about it. But guess what? Your feelings don't mean shit to us. You still you at the end of the day. And so either you're going to wake up and go and get it and you're going to change your circumstances and you're going to stop running in the Victim Olympics because nobody cares, including me. Nobody cares. You don't spend no time inside of the library. You spending all of your time out here in these streets. You spend more time trying to get into sections and buying bottles in order to impress people, but you ain't spent no time reinvesting back into yourself. I don't give a fuck about you. I don't care nothing about your kids. Them ain't my kids. And as a matter of fact, I also tell my fellas, don't become a step crash dummy. You know why? Because that's not their responsibility to fix you. It's your problem, it's your responsibility. And the sooner that you learn in life, in corporate America, in your businesses, ain't nobody gonna go to patronize your business just because you. You gotta market, you gotta work, you gotta separate yourself from the competition. That's what life is like. That's what life is about. And the sooner that you realize that, and the sooner that you continue to remove yourself from running into victim Olympics, listen, just because you a Trump supporter don't mean that we friends. I am too. But I might be voting for him for a different reason than you. I still don't give a fuck about you. You still you and I'm still me. Maybe we can come together on certain things and maybe you can get this money and understand what I'm saying, or maybe you don't. But either way, life is still lifing. You still got to look at your debt at the end of the day. You still got to look at your situation. And I don't blame you for the situation that I'm in. I blame me. Good or bad, I blame me. It's rich and it's poor. You got to decide what side of the fence that you want to be on, because guess what? It's going to get worse more than it gets better. Things are going to become even more of what they already are. The seeds that's being sown, it's going to separate the weak from the fake. It's going to separate the real from the not real. It's going to separate the ones that's been riding the fence the whole time. Even God said, listen, either be hot or cold, but I spit you out of my mouth if you lukewarm. Nobody cares. And what you're going to see after this presidential election is that you are going to be the one that determines your future, whether you like it or not. Nobody is coming to save you. Even your tax dollars is not coming back to you. It's going to illegal migrants. Stop buying things to impress people that don't give a fuck about you. Stop having children out of wedlock. Take control of your life. Make sure you join the Bag Chasers. Read a book here and now. Go read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Go read How to Win Friends and Influence People. A Random Walk Down Wall Street. Go study Benjamin Graham, Buffettology, right? Think and Grow Rich. Go and study all of these different people that is giving you the blueprint for what success is. It's a whole world of information, but you still sitting here complaining and expecting for somebody to feel sympathy for you. Listen, don't feel sympathy for me because that means I'm a sucker. I don't want your sympathy. All I want is opportunity, and I'm going to take advantage of it. And that's the difference between a real conservative and somebody that's looking at themselves as liberal. All of you pretend Trump supporters, all of you people that pretend like you conservative, all of you people that's really still dependent on the government, guess what? I don't care. And neither do the politicians. If you wind up becoming successful as a result of some policies that ultimately give you an opportunity to change your own life, awesome. But half of y'all only voting for Trump because you ain't got nothing over the last 3.5 years, and your life was ruined as a result of voting for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden in the last election anyway. You only over here because you think that somebody is going to make you feel better about yourself. If you going to vote for them, then vote for them for the right reasons. Don't nobody care about you. Don't nobody care about your feelings. Oh, I'm a Trump supporter, but this is so mean. Fuck you. And do something. Do something about it. Do something. Don't nobody care about what you think. Do something. Otherwise, shut up and go and get that money and take care of your business and fix your kids and stop complaining about what it is that you ain't got. Because after you get done complaining, you still got the same situation that you was in. Now, some of y'all may be new here. Welcome to the Millionaire Morning Show. Welcome to Anton Daniels. I never changed. I've been the same way the entire time. If you're just now discovering me, maybe you can see some other facets of my personality, but I play no games. We don't hold no hands over here at the Bag Chasers. I invest in my people. I give away a lot of money. I pay my tithes and offerings to the streets, and every single year I make sure that I donate to people's businesses. But I don't owe nobody nothing. And I certainly don't owe you no sympathy. Put your big girl pants on, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and stop looking for somebody to give you a handout, and instead look for them to make a way for you to fix your own life. Wake the fuck up, because ain't nobody coming to save you. I love you. I appreciate y'all. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to get up out of here, because I got business to take care of. Because guess what? Ain't nobody coming to save me either. Always whining and complaining, and I'm so tired of you grown men. Grown men, I don't like the way you talk to me. Where my belt at? My belt. You're gonna get yours. You want a blankie to go along with that? You want some cheese with that wine? Tonio Watkins says she just needs Nate. We got her. We got her, Aunt. Marcus Williams in the building says, enjoying the show. Pray for Roland Martin, Nubian Bookstore, Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Y'all tell me what's going on with Roland Martin. She fine. She a fine dark one, boss, with them pangolo. Derek Perry says, that is the life you chose. Should have married before you carried. Antonio Watkins is in the building. Says, night dark complexion, nice lips, long hair. Stop denying that man's trying to talk to you. And we gonna whisk you away. That's why when women be lying to us talking about, I don't care about whether or not a man got money. Shh. You ain't one step away from being homeless. GR's Infantry in the building says, a side note, AD, the Mexican president is Jewish. Pay attention to the dual citizenship. In our government in Israel, we also have a constitutional republic, not a democracy. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Minnesota County Unsolved Crime Channel was in the building. Says, what would Dr. Umar Johnson say? Umar is a sucker. Big One M Dub is in the building. Says, so what do you do? She was in a bind, Anton. Well, we got ways to get her out of that whole situation. Shout out to Mr. Maximus. Says she in a real bind. Y'all insane. Jay Denoir is in the building. Shout out to Jay Denoir. Says, 80, what up with these dudes always trying to wish and to humble you? I don't know, because they feminine and they was raised by their mamas. These so-called men have the sentiment and emotional jealous women. Agreed. De Negro says, stop complaining, close your legs, and get some more lucrative skill sets. Paul G is in the building. Pusha P says, I'm rich and I'm going to heaven. Talk to him. Bag chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon and let's get this money instead of complaining. I'm rich and I'm going to heaven. Spacer says, sometimes you got to pop out and show people. I pull out the receipts. They don't like that. Wyatt says, I'm praying. If you praying for my downfall, you better buy some knee pads. You're going to be there for a long time. Facts. A7 Key says, F your feelings and become a chaser and get this money. Shout out to my rich friends in the building. I appreciate y'all. Victor Williams says, no one is going to save you, and complaining on the web ain't helping. Get up out there and get it for yourself and your family. Stop the be humble comments. Work hard for yours, and then you can flex however you please. Hashtag chasers. Do y'all know that I celebrate when people get money? When people are successful? When they become really, really successful, when they show me and show up and pop out, we be celebrating each other. Oh, dog, I see you. Time, you better get yours because I'm coming for you, big dog. Oh, okay, I got you. It's motivation. We don't look at it as a negative thing. We look at it as a positive thing. But I'm in a whole nother space with the bag chasers. Young and Reckless says, why do these black men think that they should get praised for doing things that they supposed to do? Or these baby mamas, black baby mamas. By the way, y'all black men need to go back to y'all ain't ish baby daddy. Baby mamas need to go back to their baby daddy's ADU to go. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, Young and Reckless. With Janice says, will you ever possibly have some sort of question and answer bag chaser episode? I could do it on the Patreon if y'all want me to do it on the Patreon. Jason Lee says, Anton, you got to raise the price of the brick. It's too much value you giving out. They're not going to appreciate it anyway until I I should raise the price of the brick. I haven't raised the price of the brick in a long time. You giving me ideas. It's some people that's locked into that $9 price. They ain't never leaving. Charles Blanco is in the building. Shout out to Charles Blanco. Says, when I was down and out as a single father getting evicted from the projects, no one cared. I applied for EBT and they told me I made too much. Take your your baby mama to court for child support or get a second job. Our people ain't soft, Anton. Talk to them. Shout out to more of my rich friends in the building. I appreciate y'all. Women dismantle patriarchy and got their property rights, separate economy, and don't need a man for money, are no longer men's property in marriage and don't need men's protection. Won't reform family laws, so incentive for men to marry, and these are the results. It is what it is. It is what it is. Devastator says, I just mind my own business and get to my bag. Talk to him. Jay Hunter Lee is in the building, says, nobody cares about your bills but you and the people that you owe. And pay me my money and make sure that my fries is hot too. Ice King is in the building, says, big facts. My life only began to change once I made accountability my best friend. Talk to him. A7 Key says, on the last note, tough people last, tough times don't. Hashtag to the chasers. Craig G in the building says, bag chasers, we up. You know we got an army, right? Bag chasers is an army. Better get a Navy. Easy Money says, thank you. Shout out to Easy Money. I appreciate you. Messy Mathematician says, I want them glasses in my mailbox by tomorrow. Messy, you want these glasses? Shout out to more of my rich friends in the building. My greatest student. My greatest, newest millionaire student, Ray Sean. He's been a chaser for life. Running it up. Said, chasers chase. We don't complain. We don't complain, we go and get it. Lee Barton is in the building and says, I appreciate you, Anton. You helped me look at life differently. Definitely do you. Y'all bag chasers, have a good night. I got to get some sleep. I got to work tonight. Shout out to Jason Lee going to get it. Get that bag, big dog. Executive Suite MLE. Shout out to my New York brethren out there in the building. Says, Roland accidentally showed a busty clip on it. He was reviewing Cam, and when that video ended, a new dude clip flashed on his screen. Oh my gosh. Seriously? All right, y'all got to keep me in the loop. Somebody send me the insight and information on that. So Roland is a bussy? Roland is sassy? I did not know that. When did this happen? When did this happen, y'all? Seriously? Oh, and y'all still putting y'all trust in Roland? You see how God exposing all of these snakes? Do y'all see how God is exposing all of these snakes? It's all gonna be exposed eventually. Shout out to a black beauty, chaser for life. Shout out to my baby girl, my New York chasers in the building. I didn't know that happened. It just happened. And then they tried to come for Kevin Samuels. But Roland Martin is over there. Oh, y'all email me that. Email me that. You know I'm going in. You know we gonna talk. Nah, I'm not gonna show it, but you know we gonna talk about it on After Hours tonight. Oh, y'all still following Roland Martin? Y'all still following Roland Martin? Oh my God. All right, cool. We gonna get there. Look like we gonna have a show this week. Make sure y'all tuning into the Millionaire Morning Show tomorrow. Tiege Hanley, if you want this skin, a lot of y'all keep talking about Anton, your skin. No, big dog, I'm just beautiful. No makeup, no makeup. Tiege, all Tiege. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get that Tiege back. All right, and then also on top of that, make sure that y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Shout out to all of my chasers. We getting it in. Stan King was on her ex still rolling. Oh, y'all gotta send me all of the information. Email it to me, y'all. Email it to me. Shout out to my girl BizQ. All right, y'all. After Hours tonight. I'm gonna see y'all tonight. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. No more excuses. Let's get it, y'all.